time for Huntingdon Bearcat football on the Air Network and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Tonight's game is presented by Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community, and by D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family. Tonight's game also brought to you by Simone Family Chiropractic at 613 Washington Street in downtown Huntingdon, by Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing of Huntingdon, and by All American Subs in downtown Huntingdon. And now, with all the action of tonight's Bearcat football game, here's Statman Chad States and Dave Shannon live on the Air Network and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.
And good evening and welcome to Huntingdon's War Vets Field. I'm Dave Shannon. The guy beside me is Chad States. Go ahead and say hi, Chad.
Hi, how are you?
All right. Getting ready for tonight's contest between the 9-1 Bearcats and the 8-3 Juniata Indians. This is the second time that the Bearcats get to take on Juniata, and I think the reverberating theme in discussions prior to the game was, let's not start out like we did in the regular season game.
Well, let's hope not. That was a 14-0 deficit that Huntington found themselves in, Dave. And you and I both looked at each other and said, now, how is this team going to react? We knew they were good. We knew Huntington was good, but they had never been put into a hole quite like that up until that point. And,
right.
And we said, hey, now we're really going to find out what Huntington football is all about this year. And lo and behold, Huntington came back and scored 38 unanswered points on them and rolled to a 38-20 victory. So we saw them deal with adversity in that football game. We saw them deal with it well as they were able to shut down Juniata offensively and just turned the lights out on them. The defense, we can't speak enough of what they did to the Juniata offense in that football game, and let's hope we see some of that tonight.
One of the things you do notice when you go through the stats for Juniata is they do have a heck of a good defense.
Oh, my.
And you got to tip your cap to them. And one of the things that I know you were talking about prior to us hitting the air was defenses win titles.
Defense wins championships. I remember that great Craig Kilborn commercial on ESPN where they're knocking down the little kids and they're trying to score points, and Kilborn looks at one laying on the ground and says, defense wins championships. And I've never forgot that. One, it was a funny commercial, but I've never forgot that. But it's true. You look at all of the Super Bowl champions and all these football teams that have won championships. It's all built on defense, and Huntington has one of those defenses along with Juniata. Juniata comes into the game, I think, with 18 interceptions. They had 5 last week against Baltimore area. Their leading interceptor, Bryce Leonard, has 8 of them on the season. He had 2 last week. And they also like to get after the quarterback. Zach Piper, one of their running backs, also a great linebacker, has 11 sacks on the year.
Yeah.
Huntington's leaders in the sack category are Ben Briggs and Isaiah Reed with 5.5. So, Juniata is a team that prides themselves on playing good, solid, disciplined defense, much like Huntington does. So, look for a slugfest tonight, Dave.
Talk about coming out of the gate ready to go. The Juniata football team decided that they were going to ride in the buses from Juniata to Huntingdon, and they would be fully dressed and ready to go. I've heard a lot of sports teams talk about show and go, and that sometimes comes up when you happen to be on a bus with a team and the bus driver doesn't know exactly where he's heading there. It's like you start looking at your watch and go, okay, show and go.
Yep, and it looks like they're the buses, we can see them straight across from us, Dave. That my guess is as soon as this game ends, they're going right out that gate down there and straight over to the buses and straight home. So
yeah,
it is a chilly one, that's for sure. Our first cold game of the year, Dave.
Absolutely, yeah. We had to definitely consider different options here tonight as far as both clothing, and I did manage to drag a heater into the booth from home, and I'm glad I did. We do have, as far as one thing that can make this really bad, it's cold, but the wind is not really a factor at this particular point in time. We're looking at both of the goalpost ribbons, and the ones to our left are just limp right against the goalpost. The other ones on the right side are just fluttering a little bit out there. And the American flags that adorn the bleachers across from us, from time to time they lift up off the pole, but for the most part, not at all. So we can only hope that the wind continues to cooperate in this game. And, of course, one of the reasons you want the wind to kind of not play too much of a factor is our quarterback, Andrew Hootie, and his effectiveness. One of the things that I was checking on before we came to the game tonight was the, and by the way, they're doing the national anthem here. So we'll be back with more right after this.
Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of ensured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community with loads of activities all year round. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 proudly sponsors social events for members and their guests, plus you can enjoy their Friday food specials beginning at 5 p.m. every Friday. Saturday entertainment, plus check our website for other exciting upcoming events all year round. There's always something happening at the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Join us today.
Sometimes facts are hard to face. Statistics show that obesity is a problem in the United States, and it's not getting any better. At Simone Family Chiropractic, we understand this problem. We also know that obesity leads to very serious health problems later in life. There is a way to cleanse your body and get back to optimum health. It is called the Doctor-Supervised Chirothin System, and it teaches you how and what to eat in the real world. Call us at Simone Family Chiropractic at 814-643-2616, or stop in and see us at 613 Washington Street in Huntingdon, across from All American Pizza, or find us on Facebook.
Hi, this is Coach Hootie. The Huntingdon Bearcats were on the airnetwork.net.
Gee, you make the guy the head coach, and he just kind of takes over the broadcast.
Well, that's what head coaches do, right?
That's why he's a leader.
That's right.
Coach Hootie will be joining us shortly to talk about the upcoming game between the Bearcats and Juniata here tonight, but we'll continue our discussion. We had started to compliment Andrew Hootie on his abilities and the way he has looked throughout the course of this season. And the thing that caught my eye was a stat that you really don't talk that much about in high school football, but it is still something that quarterbacks get graded on, and that's the quarterback rating. And Andrew Hootie has a 117.2 quarterback rating. And perfect is somewhere around 130, right?
Right.
So he's only like 13 ticks away from being statistically a perfect quarterback.
And one of the things that you've seen Andrew mature, from last year into this year is he's really cut down on the turnovers. He doesn't have a lot of interceptions on the year, and he's thrown a lot of touchdown passes, so that's going to jack up that. I think he has 15 touchdown passes on the year to 5 or 6 interceptions, if that. Four interceptions. So that's really going to help your cause. And taking care of the football has been one thing that Huntington's been able to do here over the course of their 9-1 record. It's also one of the big keys to the game tonight, too, is turnovers. Limit turnovers to Juniata. Juniata likes to be a ball-hawking defense. They like to cause havoc. They like to get on the short field to be able to run their offense. And if Huntington's able to limit that tonight, chances are good for the Bearcats to advance next week.
Oh, we have a couple of guys on the Bearcats leaning up against all-time records. One of those would be Jonathan Price, who needs 3 receptions to overtake J.B. Gibney's record of 41 from back in 1999. He also needs 40 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns to become the single-season record holder in those categories as well. So let's hope that Jonathan Price has that big night here tonight and set some records.
Well, and if he does, it's going to be a good night for Bearcat football because they are going to win.
All right. We're going to come back and talk to Coach Hootie right after we take this time out. You're listening to Huntingdon Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM Huntingdon. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, DC Goodman & Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence. Here with the head coach of the Huntingdon Bearcats, Mike Hootie. And, Coach, here we go. Headed into the postseason. This will be your first game. Had a bye week last week. And meanwhile, Juniata was taking care of business with Bald Eagle area. Second time you're going to meet this team. How does that affect what you did as far as game planning goes?
Well, we worked on them. We worked on them for 2 weeks here. And, we got the latest film. So it's just business as usual.
Okay. That first game, they got off to an early lead in that game. How do you make sure that doesn't happen this time around?
Well, with the things they do, you can't replicate their speed in practice, but we've been emphasizing reading our keys,
One of the things, generally talk about one player or a couple in the pregame show. Somebody I wanted to talk about, I haven't given Ryan Quarry very much attention in our pregame shows. He's a leading tackler on the team. Talk about Ryan and the job he's done this year.
Well, he's done a great job. He's really come on as a junior. He's really quick. He asks a lot of questions, and, he has some football goals. So, obviously, it's panning out for him.
Yeah, it certainly is. Everybody healthy. The reason I ask is the last time I saw Jarris Warner on the sidelines, he had crutches and Warren, so I don't see him in crutches tonight.
No, he's good.
Everybody on the team's good to go then.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything in particular? Do you open the playbook up at all here in the postseason? Maybe try a play or two that you didn't during the regular season?
We have some new wrinkles. Basically the same stuff. We've game planned for them, so a couple different wrinkles, but that's it.
Okay. Well, it's plenty brisk, a long way from when we started back there at the end of August to the way it is tonight for sure. Coach, good luck, and we hope to be talking to you again next week at Mansion Park.
Thank you very much.
All right, back with the start of tonight's game after this on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM Huntingdon. All-American Pizza and Subs in downtown Huntingdon offers up the family meal deal with a large one-topping pizza, a dozen wings, and a 2-liter Pepsi product for only $21.99. All-American also presents Double Punch Month, where you can save big on a large sub or lunch special during the month of November. Stop by All-American Pizza and Subs at 612 Washington Street in downtown Huntingdon, home of the Bearcat Sub. Call 643-0222 for deliveries, open until 9 p.m., closed Monday.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community with loads of activities all year round. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 proudly sponsors social events for members and their guests, plus you can enjoy their Friday food specials beginning at 5 p.m. every Friday. Saturday entertainment, plus check our website for other exciting upcoming events all year round. There's always something happening at the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Join us today.
Hi, this is Andrew Hootie. You're listening to the Huntingdon Bearcats on the airnetwork.net.
Well, the entire Hootie family's taking over the broadcast, and that's okay.
Yeah,
because we like them both.
Mike's wife Dana happens to be here tonight too, since Mount Union ended their season. So
where's our wireless mic? We can talk to her yet.
Exactly. It's the only one left.
Getting ready to go see Gio Scaccia warming up. This is one of the things that does change quite a bit when you get to the cold weather games, and that is the kicking game. You're just not going to get the kind of distance. The ball does not flex like it does when the weather is warm, and even though that might have the required Tom Brady inflation on it, it's still cold, and it just totally reacts differently than what it does in the regular season. Would appear as though Juniata has won the toss and elected to receive, and Huntingdon will defend the goalpost to our left here at Huntingdon War Vets Field as we get ready to go here in Game 1 of the postseason in 2017 for the Huntingdon Bearcats. I can tell you one thing, Chad. That is, I noticed that the Juniata team is really, they've been tremendously vocal since the time they got here. And it's not just one player on that team, it's everybody.
They're a focused team. I mean, let's not forget, this is a 2-time defending District 6 runner-up that's sitting over there on that sideline. They lost to Central 2 years in a row in a District 6 championship game. So that's a good seasoned team that knows about the postseason. Last week they defeated Bald Eagle area 41 to, I think it was 41-13, 41-19. But really that game was over because it was 41-0 midway through the third quarter. So this team is focused. They're well coached. They like to play good, solid, disciplined football, and they know where they want to be, and that's over in Mansion Park next week. So Huntington's going to be in for a tussle here tonight. This is not going to be a simple rollover task.
We want to say thanks to our anonymous alums who came through with donations to help us, that is, with tonight's BIAA broadcast fees, and also to Deb Kramer and ASCF of Sharpsburg, Georgia, for your contribution as well. Thanks from all the Bearcat fans that are enjoying tonight's game online at the airnetwork.net, also in Huntingdon at 94.1 FM. And we'll continue to chat with you folks and let you know what we may need as this goes on, because our fees go up dramatically for each round of the playoffs. So we can use your help for sure. All right, Gio Scacci has the ball teed up. Gio has his cold weather gear on. And just looking down here, Jacob Wagner could care less.
Yeah.
Jacob Wagner is out there, and he does no sleeves on at all. Like, yeah,
that's a wrestler's mentality.
Andrew Finkel also
Finkel,
out there.
Both wrestlers.
Yep.
I don't want to, it's their type of mentality.
Add on Andrew Hootie.
Yep.
Andrew Hootie right in front of us, and he has no sleeves on, neither does Border. Just letting you know. And that's not a slam to the guys that do have sleeves on. Believe me, if I were playing the game, I'd have them on.
I've got 6 sleeves on tonight, Dave.
Gio Scacci kicks it off. It's going to come up at the 15-yard line, out over the 20, 25, 30. Brought down at the 34-yard line on the return for Juniata, as it would appear as though that was
Ty Martin, I believe, was the returner that time.
So Martin gets up off the floor, and he goes back to the huddle, 1st and 10. Indians ball at their own 34-yard line. Just underway here at Huntingdon Moore Vets Field. One of the things that happened there, Gio had the ball teed up. It did blow off the tee. So wind picked up just a little bit right before kickoff. First play of the game, and that is a handoff, and carrying the ball is Ethan Grove. Grove gets back to the line of scrimmage a little bit more. I think they're going to mark him down at the 35. So it's a gain of 1 and a 2nd and 9 for Juniata.
And this is what Huntington's going to want Juniata to do is to run the football. Huntington does a good job of shutting down the run. They want to force Juniata into passing situations, long passing situations tonight.
2nd down and 9. Quarterback for the Indians, Jeremiah Parson. Parson pitches this one back out over the 35 and brought down quickly right after that. Carrying the ball once again is Ethan Grove. He picks up a couple on that carry, and it brings up a 3rd down and 7 now for Juniata, and the Huntington defense has shown up, and they are all set and ready to go.
Well, and here's where the big boy comes into play, and I'm talking about number 83 for Juniata, Ben Lauver, their tight end. Look for him. They're going to be looking for him on this play, Dave.
Here we go. It is Parson at the up at the line, right under center. Handoff, quickly tackled. Finkel in on the stop, and also getting part of that tackle for the Bearcats was Alex Mikett.
Yeah, and that's a 4-yard carry for Bryson Clark. A little bit surprised by that they didn't attempt to pass on that in that 3rd and long situation, and just kind of decided to hand the ball right over to Huntington, as Huntington was not confused at all by Clark running that football.
Who knows? Maybe this will be a trick play, although I doubt it with the ball at the 41-yard line. Boy, would you get lambasted if you happen to be the head coach and decided to not punt it at this point.
Back deep for the Bearcats is the ever-dangerous Jonathan Price. He already has a touchdown return.
And it's a bad kick. It hits at the 46-yard line, rolls over toward the Huntingdon sideline on the near side of the field. It'll be touched down by Juniata at about the 42. So it'll be Bearcats ball, 1st and 10 at their own 42. So you got to love the field position for the Bearcats on that exchange.
Well, Dave, you talk about the football being like a rock tonight. As you saw coming off of his foot, you actually could hear it, the thud off of his foot on that punt. So the kicking game could be a little bit of a challenge, as the molecules act a little differently in cold weather than they do in warm weather.
9:54 left to go in the first quarter. No score in the game. Huntingdon Bearcats in their home Navy uniforms with white numbers trimmed in red, and, of course, the Navy pants as well with a big white stripe, and the handoff goes to Border. He gets out over the 45, and he's brought down right at that point. That's where they'll mark him down. So it'll be gain of 3, bring up a 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, and what did we see that time, Dave? We saw Border hitting the hole hard. He ran hard that time. Didn't stutter step, didn't do anything. That's a good sign if you're a Huntingdon Bearcat fan.
Good to see Jarris Warner back on the field without crutches or any other implements to keep him upright. 2nd down and 7. Hootie, another handoff to Border. Border fumbles. Ball pops up in the air, and I think Juniata, what the referee saying he was down by contact at that point?
That's what they're saying.
Or is he just saying, no, he's just saying that the Juniata player was down, and recovering the fumble was Ben Laver, one of the captains for Juniata. So a very uncharacteristic Ian Border fumble turns it over at the Bearcat 46, and Juniata, and we talked about the turnovers. You talked about it last week, and there were 8 turnovers in that Bald Eagle area game.
You could see that Juniata had almost 10 men in the box that time on that stop, so they're really committing to the run against Huntingdon, saying you're going to have to throw against us to win.
Shotgun this time for Parson. Back to pass, a wobbler, a wounded duck to say the least. It hits the ground first. And there was never any doubt that that was incomplete. But Jeremiah Parson that time got a taste of what it's like to throw in what sub-30-degree temperatures.
Well, we talk about the kicking game, but it's also hard if you're a quarterback to grip that football whenever it's this cold too, Dave. And you saw that as that ball just kind of fluttered up there. It was almost could have been pass interference on Lavers. He kind of shoved Price away to come back to that football. So you got to be careful with that if you're an offensive player, because that's a big-time penalty.
With the pass incompletion, clock stops at 8:59. No score in the first quarter of tonight's game between Juniata and the Bearcats. Parson once again up under center, and he's back to pass. Rolling to his right, and he's going to have to ditch it. And it was Ben Briggs that was getting ready to add to his sack total for the season, but he throws it right at Briggs' feet. And so it's an incompletion to bring up a 3rd down and 10.
And you talk about dialing up the right defense. That's exactly what Huntington did that time, as Parsons really had nowhere to go with the ball. It looked like they were trying to set up a screen. Well, there was nothing there. He could throw over the defenders, and even if he tried for his tight end Laver over the middle, he was double covered by the 2 safeties, Weglars and Finkel, over the top. So nowhere to go with that football.
At 6'3", 200, you're not going to be throwing the ball over him, especially when you're 5'9", 165, according to the roster. It's a handoff and a running play that goes nowhere as Zach Piper is brought down by the Bearcat defense after a loss of a couple, and make it a loss of 1 and a 4th down and 11. So Juniata with 2 possessions and nothing happening, 3 and out on both.
Well,
and they did try the pass that time. We were kind of surprised that they came out strictly run in their first possession. But the second possession, we can't say they didn't give the pass an opportunity there, but they found out how tough it is to pass in this kind of weather. See if this punt's a little bit better. Here's a good one. End over end, picked up by Price at about the 18-yard line, started over toward Juniata's side of the field, came back and tried to hurdle a would-be tackler in the person of Zach Piper. He got up in the air, but Jonathan was not able to completely get over him, so he's brought down at the 20-yard line, so he does pick up a little bit there on the punt return, and it's 1st and 10 for the Bearcats at their own 20.
And early on, Dave, both defenses are daring the other one to pass. They're basically saying, we're going to take away your run. You're going to have to throw the football to win tonight. And I
like the Bearcats' chances in that case.
I do too. I think that definitely is Huntington's advantage.
8:04 left to go in the first quarter. Man in motion Price. Handoff goes to Ian Border. Border gets over the 20, picks up 2, out to about the 22 to bring up a 2nd down and 8. Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Hash marks. Boy, do you wish you had hash marks.
Yeah, well, we had them for 2 games. We had them at Clearfield, and then we had them at Warren. So
they are a statistician's friend, let me tell you. They are a play-by-play guy's friend.
Hoping for the Bearcats to win tonight because we'll have hash marks next week. Andrew Hootie in the shotgun, and he quickly hands it off to Border. Boy, was that some quick hit of the hole by Ian Border there, and he picks up about 4 yards. as he gets out to the 26-yard line. So it brings up a 3rd down and 4.
Oh, and so far in the early going here, that's 4 carries for 11 yards for Border. That is the offense for Huntington. So Huntington is definitely saying, hey, we're going to try and run the football here tonight. We're going to commit to the run and see where that gets us.
By the way, we are not at an air base. The roar you hear in the background is the public service mic, public address mic, that is on, and there's a heater that's whoa, it's a quarterback keep design play. Andrew Hootie gets out over the 40, and they're going to mark him down at about the 43-yard line.
Yeah, nice job. Nice call that time by Huntington. As we've seen that play throughout the season. That's a 17-yard pickup and a 1st down. And Andrew ran with authority. He hit the hole hard, kept on trucking. Big 1st down for Huntington, a big 3rd down conversion for the Bearcats.
Andrew Hootie, actually the 2nd leading rusher on the team with 343 to Border's 1256.
Yep. And, of course, that goes along with his 1253 of passing. So total offensive-wise, Andrew's put up some decent numbers this year.
Tremendous numbers. 6:25 left to go, 1st quarter, no score. Bearcats ball 1st and 10. And it's going to be Hootie again, although this time Juniata is ready for him, and he gets high load on that one as he was brought down by Ethan Dibben, given credit, but he's also taken down up high, and I did not get that number.
No, I didn't either. Looks like it's going to be pretty much a no gain that time for Andrew Hootie.
Almost a gain of 1. They did move the down marker just a little bit. It's not back there with the chain, but we'll go with 2nd down and 10 if you want. You're the stat guy.
I go 2nd down and 10.
All right. It's all up to you. Hootie in the shotgun. Border to his left. Looks things over. Takes a snap. Rolls to his left, the far side of the field. Completes the pass to Jacob Wagner, and Wagner is quickly dragged out of bounds just shy of midfield at about the 49.
That's over to Price. That's Jonathan Price's first catch of the night. That's all right. That's going to get out to the 48-yard line. So it's his first catch of the evening for 4 yards for Jonathan, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
But it is the first pass completion by either team.
That's exactly right, and I'd imagine they're going to be dialing up another pass here too.
And they did call him out of bounds, so clock stops, 5:35 left to go, 1st quarter, no score in the game. 3rd down from the 48-yard line for the Bearcats. They need to get to the Juniata 47. Handoff to Border. He's tripped up in the backfield. Almost kind of a leg whip kind of stop. Bryson Clark down there on the ground, and he was kind of spinning around on the field, and that tripped up Ian Border as he ends up losing a yard on that play, and it brings up 4th down and 5, and Andrew Hootie will get the punt the football, so he'll get to feel that brick on his foot this time.
Returning for the Indians is Piper.
Zach Piper back deep. He's a dangerous punt returner for Juniata.
Hootie gets the ball away. Actually, a good kick. Hits at the 9. Well, it hits at the 19, and I guess it hit right on the sideline because they mark it out.
On at the 21.
At the 21.
Yep.
So it looked like it was going to roll down inside the 15, but it was a quick whistle, and they say it hit right at the 21-yard line. So that's where Juniata will take over 1st and 10. The ball at their own 21-yard line.
Well, Dave, early on, you can see this game shaping up a little bit differently than what we saw back in Week 6 as Juniata raced out to that 14-0 lead, and then Huntington had to come back. There was a lot of offensive fireworks in that game. Tonight, it's been all defense.
Thanks to our Bearcat broadcast boosters, bringing you Bearcat football this season. Huntingdon Family Center, 223. Also, D.C. Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family. And the handoff goes for a loss of 1, depending on, it looks like they're going to mark it back at the 20-yard line. So that play, was that a keep by Parson?
That was a keep by Parson. That was a quarterback keep by Parson, yes.
Also, by the way, our game brought to you tonight, D.C. Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family, Simone Chiropractic and Weight Loss, Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, and All-American Pizza and Subs, helping to bring you tonight's broadcast on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Parson in the shotgun this time, rolls to his right, looks downfield, doesn't have anyone to throw to, and decides to tuck and run, and actually does pick up a yard or maybe 2. They may mark him down at about the 22, make it the 23. So he gets a pretty good spot there on the run, but still 3rd and long for Juniata. So let's see if they dial up a pass here on 3rd and long.
Parsons missed an opportunity to throw the ball deep that time to Lavers. Laver was singled up with Jonathan Price and had the inside position against the quarterback and an inside slant. But Parson was being heavily pursued by Huntington's leading tackler, Ryan Corey, a guy that we just can't talk enough about, Dave, because he is just sideline to sideline active. And when your linebackers can get in and force your quarterback and flush him out of the pocket and make him think about, hey, I got to run as opposed to throwing the football, that's going to be good news to a defense all night long. Corey likes to bring the pressure, and he can run with anybody on this football field.
I want to clarify, too, that part of the noise that you're hearing, the Bearcats have heaters on their sideline. They have gigantic tanks of propane that are hooked up to the typical kind of heaters that you see on football fields at this time of the year. So just so you know. All right, here come the Indians. 3rd down and long. Jeremiah Parson is up under center. Nobody wide at this point, and it's going to be a run play, and it will not get 1st down yardage. I believe he handed the ball off to Grove, and if so, Grove gets out over the 25 to about the 26. Needed to get to the 31, so it'll be a 4th down and 5, and yet another punt for the Indians, as they have had the ball 3 times, and it's been 3 and out all 3 times. And if defense wins you championships, well then, hey, Bearcats are on their way. They just need to punch one into the end zone here on this next possession. Got to have high hopes with Price standing at his own 45 to accept the kick. Good kick away that time. Price signals fair catch at the 45. So the Bearcats will start there, 1st and 10. Still good field position for them. They've had good field position 2 times. Started at their own 20, and then Andrew Hootie with a big run got them out over the 40-yard line. So the Bearcats have been operating with good field position. Let's see if they can do something with it this time.
Yeah, you just kind of get the feeling, Dave, as to who's going to make the big play here, who's going to, or the big mistake that leads to that touchdown. But who's going to make the big play? As both teams are concentrated on shutting down the running game of the other.
Warner, Price, and Wagner wide. Ooh, Hootie had a little trouble with this. No, I'm sorry, that was the old direct snap to Ian Border, catching Juniata by surprise, and Border ends up 1 yard short of a 1st down as they mark him down at the 46. And I am so used to watching other football on television that I would have had him with the 1st down.
That's that play that Penn State runs where they'll line up McSorley behind the center, and then all of a sudden they'll slide him over and let Saquon take the direct snap. That's what we saw out of Huntington. Was they lined up Hootie, then all of a sudden Border comes over and takes a direct snap for 9 yards.
Nice position to be in. 2nd and 1, 3:14 left to go. 1st quarter, no score. Here's a screen pass by Hootie, and everything gets stopped. And it would appear as though we have an encroachment against the Indians of Juniata. 5-yard penalty and a Bearcats 1st down. 1st and 10 at the Juniata 41.
Yeah, it's our first penalty of the game.
Looky here. The tip of the football is almost at the 40.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
It's the way it rolls. We call it the 40 and move on. So the Lord giveth and he taketh away, Dave. And
yeah, that happens.
That's what we do here. But that's only the 2nd 1st down tonight. The first one coming on the Hootie 17-yard run, and then that one on that penalty. So, and both of them earned by the Bearcats.
1st and 10, Bearcats ball at Juniata's 40. No score. Trying to get something on the board here. Hootie rolls to his left, looks downfield, makes the pass, and it is complete. Picking that pass out of the air, Draven Zook. And that's somebody, as a matter of fact, the play that did not happen because of the offside was a design play for Zook. And it was like, hey, we're getting the ball to Draven Zook one way or another. So had a little bit of a misfire because of Juniata. It's like they still got it to him on the play after that. And they have now a 2nd down and 4 as a pickup of 6 on the pass to Zook.
And he is a fast, speedy slot receiver when he's in the game. So Huntington has weapons.
He's back over on the sidelines now. Man in motion is Wagner from right to left. Hootie hands the ball off. It's Ian Border, and a good stiff arm that took both his own blocker and one of the Juniata guys down at the same time.
I believe that's going to be enough for a 1st down. I think he's going to get 5 yards on the nose and Yep, they're going to move the chains.
Okay. All right. Good enough for a first down. 1st and 10 as the tip of the football is just shy of the 30-yard line. So the Bearcats now with an extended drive, and the first extended drive for either team. Bearcats did pick up that first down, as Chad had mentioned, and now they're on an extended drive. Jacob Wagner comes over to the sideline, and you have Zook out wide along with Price. Here's a handoff to Ian Border. Stumbled a bit, and a flag comes in. Border still struggling, as that was he was knocked down. The whistle didn't blow. Bryson Clark was eventually chasing him to bring him down, and a whole lot happened for no particular reason because a holding penalty was called on the Bearcats.
And this one could be a big one because the penalty flag is laying 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So this could be a big penalty. Yep, it's going to be the penalty's 10 yards, but because it's 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, it's a spot foul. It becomes a 15-yard penalty. So now Huntington's going to be first and big.
1st and 25. Or 1st and the Giant store.
Yeah.
Clock rolling. 2 minutes left to go. First quarter, no score in the game. Here's the pass, and it's complete to Wagner over the 45-40, 35-30, is tripped up, dives, trying to get the first down, and that extra little dive got him within about 2 yards, make it a yard of first down yardage. And there is another flag on the play. And it's another hold against the Bearcats. Wow. This flag sitting at the 36-yard line. So things are... The guy with the down marker's not going to have to move very far. Is about all I can say about that. So, another hold against the Bearcats.
That's still a completion of 10 yards to Wagner because it's a spot foul. But regardless, Huntington was looking at getting 24, those 25 yards back on that play.
That was a heck of a play.
Holding penalties can kill you in football. We've just seen 2 of them here.
Still first down. And 25. Snap back. Hootie is back to pass. Throws one toward the near sideline for Price. And he makes a great move to get into position to catch it. And he's just going to be a little bit shy of first down yardage. So the Bearcats go to that well. And that's a good well to go to.
Yeah, well, a great comeback for Jonathan Price on that football. He was able to make the adjustment. And, sometimes when you're a quarterback and you've got trust in your wide receiver, you know that you can go ahead and make that throw, and that's exactly what we see out of Hootie is trust.
The other thing that happened there, Chad, was the defender was still looking at Price and didn't realize, Price had already turned around and realized the pass was going to be in a completely different area, so he made the adjustment. His defender didn't, and Price, with the sure hands, comes up with a catch. Andrew Hootie on the quarterback keep gets the first, they did get first down yardage, I guess.
Yeah.
I did not catch that.
And that's a good call by the offense to go ahead and try and run Andrew that time, except he kind of gets happy feet. He kind of gets them shuffling back, from the left to the right as opposed to running north and south on a play like that. If he's able to hit the hole and follow Border right up through the hole, he's going to get 3 or 4 yards every time, but he sometimes stutters getting into that hole.
45 seconds left to go. First quarter, no score in the game. One team moves on. The other one's season is over. The one that wins will move on. Traven Zook in motion from left to right. Hootie back to pass, looks downfield toward the corner of the end zone for Price. He makes the catch! Touchdown, Bearcats.
We got a
flag on the play, but I think it's probably going to be against Juniata, let's hang on.
I'm not so sure about that. Jonathan had a hold of his jersey. I want to see if this is offensive.
I think you may have it nailed.
They're saying
pass interference. No,
touchdown.
It's against Juniata, so it is a Bearcat touchdown with 25 seconds left in the first quarter. Bearcats score first and lead tonight's game by a score of 6-0. Gio Scotcha coming in for the point after. Jarris Warner out there to hold for him. But what a nice drive by the Bearcats, overcoming adversity with those back-to-back holding calls and some tremendous completions by Andrew Hootie. And another one there.
Absolutely.
And Scotch's point after attempt is short, no good. And the score remains Bearcats 6, And Juniata nothing. 25 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Pitt Panthers, they played last night and unfortunately lost. What an agonizing game to watch. As the Panthers, I thought that was going to be whoever had the ball last would win, but it ended up being North Carolina that picked up the victory against the Panthers. So they will be back in action again November 18th, next Saturday. They'll travel to Virginia Tech to take on the Hokies. And we'll have the pregame for you at noon, followed by kickoff at 12:30 on the Air Network and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. So get ready for Pitt Panther football.
Well, and I don't want to be remiss in announcing that that pass broke two single-season records, as that became Jonathan's third catch of the evening. Night. So that pushes him to 42, which breaks the previous record of 41 by J.B. Gibney back in 1999. It also gives him 49 yards receiving, which now eclipses the total of 714 that was posted by Courtney Geddick in 1998. So Jonathan Price rewriting the record books here this year as far as receiving goes. He only needs two more touchdowns, and he holds a single season record in that. He will hold every tangible receiving record by the time he has finished his career.
Pretty amazing stuff for Jonathan Price, 5'8" senior. He's had himself a great year. Gio Scaccia to kick off. And this one's one of these sideways ones. It hits at the 37 and rolls down at the 30-yard line and is returned by one of the upbacks, which in this case was Ben Lauber. Lauber gets out near the 45-yard line, and that's where the Indians will start this drive. Good field position for them this time around. Let's see if they're able to do anything with it. So far, every possession that is they've had has resulted in a 3-and-out.
Right, and the game's playing out basically how we called it, Dave. Two defensive teams wanting to stop the run. The other team that's going to be able to throw the ball effectively tonight is probably going to be the one who's going to walk away with the victory. So far, that's been Huntington, as Andrew Hootie is 5 of 5 for 64 yards and a touchdown.
And Hootie comes up expecting some sort of a blitz here. It is a handoff and a run play, and that is snuffed out quickly after a gain of about 1. As carrying the ball that time for the Indians was Zach Piper.
Yeah, and if you saw,
Piper gets, as I said, just a yard.
1 yard, but there were 5 Bearcats in on him, tackling him.
Yeah.
5. So, between Price and you saw Isaiah Reed and you saw Owen Kaufman and Ryan Corey in there. No room to run for Juniata in that first quarter.
Clock runs out. That is the end of the first quarter, and the score, Bearcats 6. And Juniata nothing. Second quarter's next here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM Huntingdon.
Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of ensured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon.
Sometimes facts are hard to face. Statistics show that obesity is a problem in the United States, and it's not getting any better. At Simone Family Chiropractic, we understand this problem. We also know that obesity leads to very serious health problems later in life. There is a way to cleanse your body and get back to optimum health. It is called the Doctor-Supervised ChiroThin System, and it teaches you how and what to eat in the real world. Call us at Simone Family Chiropractic at 814-643-2616, or stop in and see us at 613 Washington Street in Huntingdon, across from All American Pizza, or find us on Facebook.
This is Ian Board. You're listening to Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net.
Back at Huntingdon War Vets Field, it is the Bearcats with a 6-0 lead as we begin the second quarter. Juniata moving from left to right here in the second quarter, and the handoff and a nice tackle by
Isaiah Reed.
Isaiah Reed. Right at the end of that carry, because if he'd have got loose there, that could have ended up in maybe a good 15-yard game, but as it is, it's just 5. And it is 3rd down and 5 for the Indians in midfield.
So total yardage in the first quarter, Dave. Huntington with 105 yards of total offense. Juniata with 11.
That is a telling tale, my friend.
Yes, it is.
3rd down and 5 in the shotgun this time. It is Jeremiah Parsons. Parsons back to pass, looking to his left the whole way down the field. Pass was intended for Bryce Leonard. It falls incomplete. and it's a 4th down, and Juniata's offense is really having trouble getting on track here.
Yeah, they like to run those inside handoffs. The thing is, Huntington's practiced against this for 2 straight weeks. They practiced against Juniata's offense, thinking that was going to be their opponent the whole time. That's what happens when you have the bye week, is you get to focus in on that. But one name we're not calling out here for Juniata on offense is Ben Lawver. They've got to get this kid involved in the football game if they want to win tonight.
Wind has picked up a little bit, but not dramatically. So I just thought I'd make that point. Indians with the punt. This is another good one, and it's fielded by Price at the 20-yard line, 25, 30. Getting out near the 35, avoids one tackler, avoids another spin move, and stretches out and almost gets to the 40. What a nice return of 20 yards by Jonathan Price.
Yep.
Well, they're going to mark him back a little bit now. I see them. They didn't like his effort to reach out with the football to get to the 40-yard line, so they take him back 2 yards.
And I'm one of these statisticians that loves to write with a pen, for crying out loud. So you get hosed every once in a while by these refs. But again, we had said, Dave, in that first quarter, that if we hear Price's name a lot involved in this game, it's going to be a long night for Juniata. And so far, that's been the case.
11:04 left to go in the first half. A 6-0 Bearcat lead. Andrew Hoody's pass is complete to Draven Zook. Zook with a nice move, but I got to credit the defender there for Juniata, as it was Carl Fowler who adjusted nicely, a little shake and bake from Draven Zook, but he was unable to get away from him.
Yeah, and if he doesn't make that tackle, Zook is zipping down the left sideline here, because he had wide open green space going down for a touchdown potentially.
There's been a system in place tonight where it seems to be Wagner and Zook continue to shuttle plays in and out of the huddle for the offense for the Bearcats here tonight.
Well, that's a good way to do it, because you can't focus on one of them then.
Yeah. Nope, I like the way things are going. Border pulls back. He was to the left of Andrew Hoody, who was almost intercepted. He had Price on a quick hitter, and great defense from R.J. Becker.
Yeah, this is a good secondary. Juniata prides themselves with trying to be, a really good ball-hawking secondary, and R.J. Becker almost came up with one there, which would have set Juniata up with real good field position, but he wasn't able to come on that ball, and now it's going to be a 3rd and long for the Bearcats.
Zook back out there, Wagner back on the sideline. Zook is wide to the right, and it is Jonathan Price wide to the left. It's going to be a handoff. Ian Border gets out over the 40, 45, midfield, lowers his shoulder and picks up a couple more, but Ian is, he's just taking his time getting up. I was kind of worried there because he was motionless there for a little while. Maybe just giving the defender a chance to get off of him.
Yeah, that's a 13-yard pickup for Border that time, but in cold weather like that, that's got to hurt a little bit when you're lowering a boom, so to speak. But another 1st down, another converted 3rd down for Huntington as they cross midfield and look to keep this thing going here.
We'll call it a 1st and 10 at the 47 with 10 minutes left to go in the first half, and the Bearcats trying to add on to a 6-0 lead in tonight's game. And before anything happens, well, there was a beanbag, a flag, and a whole bunch of things that flew, and it was a false start on the Bearcats. So a 5-yard penalty sets up a 1st down and 15, and these are the kinds of things that you would expect to be gone at this time of the year.
Right, absolutely. I agree with that. A holding call is going to happen every once in a while just because that's just part of the game. Good part of the gameplay. You get caught up in stuff.
And as they say, you can call it on just about every play.
That's exactly right. Or a penalty on special teams, this, that, or whatever. But these types of mistakes are the ones you need to clean up heading into the postseason. And we're talking about offsides penalties or delay of games on the offense.
9.5 left to go in the first half. Hoody in the shotgun, fakes the handoff, rolls to his right, looks downfield, lets it go deep, and the pass. Oh, man, what a great pass. Ben Briggs could not reel it in, but it was thrown perfectly by Hoody over the shoulder in stride, and Ben Briggs just could not come down with it.
No, but it's tough to catch a football on a night like tonight, but that hit him right in the hands, and he dropped that football. You're right, though. Andrew Hoody put that ball right where it needed to be, as Ben was able to just separate himself away from the defensive back by about a yard or two and hit him right in the hands, and now it's going to set up a 2nd and long.
2nd and 15. Bearcats still have time here to try to advance the ball up the field.
Drew Weglar's in at running back, I see.
Yes, this could be interesting. Drew is out, trying to block. Hootie with lots of time, throws for Price the opposite way here in the near side, out over the 35, down to about the 33, where he is brought down by R.J. Becker. But the gain is good for a Bearcat first down.
Well, you talk about a guy that you throw it anywhere near him, he's going to make a catch, and that is Jonathan Price.
Well, you got to love that one too, Chad. Everybody, all the motion was going to the right side of Andrew Hootie, and he threw it back the other way. Saying something really good about Hootie, that he can be going in that direction, able to throw back that accurately to Price. And it just left Price in a position where he was going to be open. You give him much room, he'll figure out a way to get open, that's for sure.
Well, now this passing game in Huntington's opened up. It should make them respect the run, and here comes Drew Weglars.
Yeah, Weglars gets down over the 30, and he's you have been a big fan of Drew.
Sure. A change of pace back. It makes a difference in a football game. You got to make him look at something different.
And he ends up picking up 6 on the carry to set up a 2nd down and 4. And Ian Border comes back into the game, but fine work. Certainly by
Huntington's doing a real good job personnel-wise, Dave, I think, of rotating people in and then getting that ball so Juniata has something to look at differently every time they're snapping the football here.
For example, you got Zook back in there as a receiver wide to the right. Hootie is looking down the left side, throwing it for Price, over the shoulder catch, touchdown, Bearcats.
And there it is.
What a perfect, another in this particular drive, perfect pass by Andrew Hootie, and you really got a feel for Jeremiah Parson, who was given the assignment of covering Jonathan Price, and he really had good coverage on him. That is just a well-thrown pass. Never mind the weather, never mind the temperature. Andrew Hootie, what a shot.
That was just an absolutely great throw. It could not have been put any better. And again, now this is going to make Juniata think about, hey, we just tried to stop the run to make them pass, and we can't stop the pass. So now what are we going to do?
Yeah, that's digging yourself a hole. Bearcats will go for 2. Giascaccia missed the point after on the first touchdown, so they'll try to get things back to normal here and make it a 14-0 lead. Hootie turns, hands off the border, over the left side, into the end zone. 2-point conversion's good. Bearcats lead it by a score of 14-0. Coming up at halftime, we'll visit with Trish Coral, Vice President of Marketing with Penn Highlands Community College. She'll discuss the Huntingdon campus on Margie Drive. We want to thank the folks at Penn Highlands Community College. They've been a sponsor with the airnetwork.net and helping us to bring you Bearcat sports, not working as a football booster, but they were with us for the winter sports last year, and we hope they come back for another round of that here in 17-18. Monday night sports talk headed your way Monday night at 7 o'clock. You going to be around, States? Or?
I don't think so, because I am still in this musical loop, so to speak, as my daughter ends up having her choral performance, her winter choral performance on Monday night. So I will be attending that as the Huntington Music Department. Just honestly, folks, if you're listening, you need to get out and see these kids because they are absolutely fantastic. From the band all the way through the course and the way they're led and what they do, it really, really is a good time. Coming from a non-music guy myself, it's wonderful.
8:08 left to go here in the first half. A 14-0 Bearcat lead. Giascaccia teeing the football up at the 40-yard line, getting ready to kick this one off. I think he took, or at bare minimum, rolled his sleeves up a little bit.
Just some quick stats here for you before he kicks this off. Jonathan Price, 5 catches for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. Andrew Hootie is 9 of 10 for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
Price needs just one more touchdown to hold every single season category record.
That matters to a receiver.
Yeah.
That's right.
Short kickoff, and that is taken by Bryson Clark. Clark gets over the 35 and is brought down at about the, let's make that the 38-yard line.
So now, Dave, here's the question. You're Juniata. You've not been able to run the football against Huntington as you have, let's see here, 10, 12, let's see here, 14, 13 yards rushing. In fact, that's your total offense right now. 13 yards rushing through almost a quarter and a half of play. You've only attempted 3 passes. They've not gone anywhere. What do you do?
I think you got to at least dial up one good protected screen pass.
Yep, I agree.
And get a screen pass completed and maybe loosen things up a little bit as far as that aspect of it goes. But no, they're going to stay on the ground, and the handoff goes to Bryson Clark. Clark gets out over the 40 and not too much past that. I think they'll mark him right at the 40-yard line. So the line of scrimmage ended up being the 39. So it's kind of funny sometimes how the sticks kind of gravitate in one direction or another.
And Coach Gary Klingensmith said, one of his quotes from last week was, hey, we know we've got to play a perfect football game to be able to beat Huntington next week at Huntington. And that's so far he's right with his comment and the fact that they would have to play a perfect game, and they're just not able to dial it up so far.
Here's the old halfback option throw downfield. That one is incomplete, and the intended receiver on the play was Bryce Leonard, and Leonard wanted a flag on the defense, but it did not come, and it will now be 3rd down and 9 for the Indians. And they're trying to get a pass completion, Chad, but I don't know that that's quite the right one to dial up
when
at
you
that
see
point.
That
A little trickeration.
I agree.
But not done quite as well as Central did.
But when you see that coming with 7:23 in the second quarter, you know the other team is in desperation mode right now, Dave.
Yeah. Parson, quick handoff. Gain out over the 40 to near the 45-yard line. R.J. Becker, the ball carrier that time. And it's still going to leave them short by about 4 yards for a first down. So a 4th and 4. And Juniata yet to get a first down in tonight's game.
Yeah, and a good pursuit that time by none other than Ryan Corey. Again, you've got an active linebacker that can run north, south, east, and west with your running backs. It's going to be a long evening.
Bellefonte leading Johnstown 7-6 after one quarter. So we've been informed by Greg Banks. Here's the punt. It's going to be fielded by Price. He did not fair catch it. Makes a spin move at the 22. Still on his feet. And eventually, I'll tell you what, as Mike Lang has famously said in Penguins broadcast, he had more moves than Mae West on that one.
Well, he kind of caught that ball and stood still, was trying to set up his blocking scheme to see, how they were going to, line up in front of him. But 5-yard pickup on a punt return. Huntington will return to offense here, leading 14-0 with 6:32 to go. And really, at this point, Dave, it's a dominating 14-0 score and an intimidating 14-0 score. As Juniata has done nothing on offense so far.
Yeah, they have to get loosened up, or it's just going to be. And another touchdown here by the Bearcats would really be demoralizing for Juniata. 14-0 Bearcats with the lead. Snap, direct to Ian Border, a little Wildcat stuff, and he only gets back to the line of scrimmage, or maybe even lost a yard on that play. I think he's going to get back to the line, but it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10.
One thing I'm waiting to see out of the Bearcat offense is if you saw on that 2-point conversion, they lined up in the I formation and Border walked in from 3 yards. I'm waiting to see if they line up in the I formation here and decide to run the football, because if they do, I don't think Juniata can block it. I don't think they can handle it out there, and I think it's going to be a big yardage for Border and any running back that carries the football if they decide to do it.
Border got one hand on him when he went for that 2-point conversion. That was it. And that's not enough to bring that young man down, that's for sure. Here's Hootie. It's a quarterback run. He's out over the 30-yard line, brought down at about the 31. They need to get to the 37-yard line, so we'll have a 3rd down and 6.
Hootie on the keeper for the Bearcats.
So Andrew Hootie, part of the rushing game here tonight as well. As really, we've had a number of choices out there, as you've had Drew Weglars, had a couple of nice carries.
Yep.
Hootie had an exceptional carry earlier on,
yep.
Although I'm not discounting what he just gained there, basically picking up about 4 yards on that carry. And a big 3rd down here for the Bearcats. Snap to Hootie, rolling to his left, looks, has it complete to Wagner. Wagner over the 40, 45. At midfield, he is pulled down by the shoulder pads as Juniata's Ethan O'Donnell came up to yank him down, very legally, I might add. He just, has that much of a wingspan that he was able to grab those shoulder pads and bring him down. But the gain's good for a Bearcat first down, 1st and 10 at Juniata's 48.
And that was Jonathan Price again there, Dave. He had just another
Why am
great.
I seeing a 3?
I don't know. That was Jonathan Price on that catch, so that's going to give him 6 for 117 yards on that one. So another big completion to his favorite wide for Hootie to Price again. So kind of a theme here this evening.
Handoff to Border this time, and Ian's only going to get back to the line of scrimmage again. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. 5:01 left to go, by the way, here in the first half, and a 14-0 Bearcat lead.
Huntington with 9 first downs, 5 by pass so far, is Andrew Hootie now up to 9 of 11, 134 yards. Price with 117 of those and 2 touchdowns. So it's the Hootie to Price show so far this evening that's getting the job done for the Bearcat offense.
Well, now I'm going to be really confused because you got Price and Wagner on the same side of the field.
It's my job to make sure that is.
Jonathan looked like it might be a jet sweep, but no, it's a handoff to Ian Border. Border stays on his feet, continues to drive forward. He was down at about the 45-yard line, continued to drive and got to the 41.
Well, he was bulldozing there. I think he's pretty much had enough of people trying to get him in the backfield, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to take things into my own hands. As he dropped like 2 or 3 different levels of a running back there to be able to pick up 6 and set up a 3rd and short here.
I want to say thanks to Brian Smith, Peg Bennett, Kate Loss, Mike Reiling, and those tuned in to Bearcat football tonight on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Big 3rd down play, 3rd and 3. Snap to Hootie in the shotgun, rolls to his right, looks downfield, lets it go, and it's caught by Price over the 20 and down to about the 18-yard line where he goes out of bounds, and it's good for another Bearcat first down.
Dave, this is pitch and catch. This is absolutely pitch and catch. You could draw that one up, and that was when you drew up in the streets when you were playing with a Nerf football, as Andrew Hootie looked at Price and pointed him to go, hey, go, and he made the completion down there. That's a 23-yard pass play, as this duo right now of Hootie and Price is unstoppable. Juniata has no answers.
You've seen that wave on TV in both college and pro football where a quarterback will wave at a particular receiver to just go downfield. And he has completed some just amazing passes here tonight. And here's Chad's favorite option running back, Drew Weglars. And he has the football, and he's down over the 15 to about the 13-yard line. So that's going to be a gain of about 5. And, hey, you got to love what Weglars has been able to do. Chad calls him the change of pace running back. And, boy, I'll tell you what, he definitely gives the defenses something to think about.
And he runs hard all the time. I mean, his feet are just constantly in motion, constantly moving forward.
A completely different running back than Ian Border. Ian at 6 foot 210, and Drew is at 5'11", $180. So you got 2 different guys to look at there, and ergo Chad's definition of change of pace. Hootie throws toward the end zone. The pass falls incomplete. Pass intended for Mikett. And he was in the end zone, but let him just a little too much that time.
Yeah, Mikett, one of those big tight end possibilities that Huntington has that they don't throw too much. Mikett going to Millersville to play baseball. As Dave, now that's right. Guy. I now have to take a look at the single game receiving record and see where we sit there. That's 149 yards in last year's playoff game. At the same time, almost exactly a year ago, as Jonathan put up 149 against Forest Hills. He currently has 140, and we're not even done with the first half here against Juniata. So record-breaking night for Mr. Price, and we said if Huntington does that, it's good things.
Jet sweep stuff, and this time it is Wagner for sure. He's down over the 15. Nice move. Continues on his feet. I think he gets down to the inside the 10. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 9, and it will be a 1st and goal, I do believe, for the Bearcats.
I'll wait till they spot the football here,
Oh, we got the side judge standing at the 9-yard line, and if that's where he is...
I think they're short by a yard. They're short by a yard.
I didn't realize looking uphill could cause that much of a difference in where you put the ball down.
Short by a yard.
The Berminator is tuned in. Dave Berman in Chester, PA tonight.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for tuning in and listening to us.
And before we get started, the whistle blows. I think we got a timeout by Juniata. That gives us time to thank our Bearcat broadcast boosters for bringing you Bearcat football this season. The Huntingdon Family Center, the Moose Folks, 223, D.C. Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family, Simone Chiropractic and Weight Loss, Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, and All American Pizza and Subs. And we want to thank the anonymous alums who came through with donations to help us bring you tonight's PIAA playoff game because those broadcast fees just keep going up and up the further the Bearcats go. I want to also thank Deb Kramer and ASCF of Sharpsburg, Georgia, for their contribution to the broadcasts as well. Stay tuned. We'll bring you the entire postseason run for the Bearcats here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Now, I'm assuming that we never have to play a game at Juniata because from what you've told me, there's no way we could do that game.
No, that's right. We won't be able to broadcast from
unless
there.
It suddenly gets sunny and 75.
Exactly right. It would be very difficult to do. So
I would not want to be sitting on a set of bleachers
tonight. This is what I was going to call Huntington coming out in this 4th and 1. I was going to say watch for the I formation.
Yeah. Going for it on 4th down, the handoff to Border. He has the first down, keeps going into the end zone. Touchdown.
And there's that I formation, Dave.
One of the Indians had a hold of him. R.J. Becker thought he had him tackled, and it's the perfect tackle. He had him down around the ankles, but just didn't finish wrapping him up. And Ian Border, with that leg strength that he has, just continues on into the end zone, and it is a 20-0 Bearcat lead.
Yeah, and building to be an insurmountable lead at this point in time.
With the way the offense of Juniata is going.
It is 245 yards for the Bearcats and 22 for Juniata at this point in time.
Gio Scaccia with a point after. No problem that time as he nailed that baby right down the pipe and plenty of distance on it. His first attempt fell short of the crossbar. No problem that time. It's good, and it makes the score Bearcats 21 and Juniata nothing. 2:47 left to go in the first half. Once again, happy to have all you folks out there listening tonight. Stay tuned at halftime as Trish Coral, Vice President of Marketing with Penn Highlands Community Center, or Community College, that is, talks to Greg Banks about the stuff going on at the Huntingdon campus of Penn Highlands Community College on Margie Drive. So stay tuned for that halftime update and interview with Greg. We'll get you more scores as they become available on this Friday evening. Last one we had was Bellefonte, a 1-point lead over Johnstown after a quarter. So the Bearcats, that week off paid off. They came out with no rust on them, Chad.
No, absolutely not. And we're seeing them getting it done in all phases of the game. And Juniata is in some serious trouble right now.
2:47 left to go. Now, if they could score a touchdown, here's the thing. The Bearcats get the football to start the second half. So Juniata is almost under a lot of pressure here to get some kind of score out of this first half. Good kickoff by Scaccia, fielded at the 18 and then fumbled. Picked back up again, out over the 25, and finally out over the 30, brought down at about the 31-yard line was time. No, I'm sorry, that's Ethan Grove on the return. And Grove was tackled by...
last week Juniata
Andrew Edwards,
had it pretty easy going. Baltimore area with those 8 turnovers, and really Juniata was able to get their running game with these inside trap plays that they have going in their quick backs with Becker and with Piper all game long. But that has been totally shut down by a more aggressive and more physical Huntington defense tonight, and Juniata just in a world of hurt right now.
Juniata needs to complete a pass, and they're not going to do it that time around because it's a handoff, and it goes to R.J. Becker, and Becker is driven backward. He's going to end up losing a yard, and a timeout has been called by the Bearcats, as maybe the thought here is if you hold them on another 3 and outs, maybe add a couple more points on at halftime.
Absolutely, and why not? It's a smart timeout for Huntington to get. But Huntington's leading tackler Ryan Corey involved in that play once again, and a good speedy middle linebacker like that has really shut down this entire Juniata running game. They don't. I don't think they know what to do at this point in time. I don't think they can do anything because if Parsons dropped back to pass, and we saw it, Dave, he's got 4 or 5 Bearcats in his face, so there's no time for him to even throw to his tight end Ben Lawver tonight.
Yeah. Well, as I said before, if they could at least complete a screen pass, maybe things would loosen up a little bit, but they have not been able to even do that to this point. By the way, it looked like it might have been a loss on the carry by Becker, but they're basically keeping it near the 30-yard line, so it's going to be a 2nd down and 10. Bearcats up 21-0, 2.5 left to go in the first half. 2:33 to be exact, but close enough for government work.
Close enough for government.
As it has been said. And I just lost my headphones. Back to pass is Parsons. Lets it go. And it's intercepted by Jarris Warner. Warner trying to get away, and he does. Back over the 40, the 45, and into Juniata territory at the 49-yard line. Jarris Warner with a big interception. Jarris has had his share this year, Chad.
Yeah, absolutely, and a good job that time of Warner playing basically center field, Dave, and making that catch as Parsons floated that one over his receiver's head. Jarris with that nice long reach that he has is able to gobble that ball in, and Huntington with plenty of time now on the clock to post another one right before half. So,
well, I have been amazed, and as the season went on, the Bearcat coaching staff got really good at managing the end of the first half to get points. And it would appear as though they're going to be able to do that again, thanks to Jarris Warner and that great interception. Hootie deep downfield, and it was intended for Wagner, and some great defense that time by Bryce Leonard.
Leonard's their ball-hawking defensive back. He leads them in interceptions, but really Wagner was just one step more to the inside, and he'd have had a completion on that as Hootie threw a dart. He is on target tonight, looking really, really sharp. This is the best I've seen Andrew throw the ball all season long.
Once he got on track, I'll tell you what, Andrew Hootie has looked every bit of that big quarterback rating that we gave you before the broadcast of 117.2. Here's a handoff to Border. Border over midfield to 45, down to the 40, first down and more, 35, 30, 25, and finally they trip him up near the 20-yard line. Ian Border with his biggest rushing gain of the night is brought down at the 22, I do believe, is where they're going to spot it. But the gain is good for, well, make it to 23 now.
Whatever.
Yeah,
you just kind of
seriously.
You just kind of get that. It's a 26-yard pickup for Ian.
It's a great pickup.
It's a great pickup. It's a first down, and Huntington's going to really throw salt on the wounds here, so to speak.
Hootie rolling to his left. Lets it go toward the end zone. Wide open. Nobody around. Jonathan Price makes the catch for another Bearcat touchdown. There are no flags on the field, and the Bearcats are up 27-0.
And now we have a new single-season touchdown record and a new single-game record for Jonathan Price. That's 163 yards in the first half. And tell me, Dave, that's his 8th catch. How does he get that wide open?
I don't know.
I mean, how do you let that guy that wide open?
Within 7 yards of him. And he was just kind of standing there saying, Andrew, throw me the ball. And he did. Andrew Hootie has looked exceptionally good tonight. Gio Scotcher with the point after attempts up and good. As the ribbon's now at the top of the goalposts there at that end of the field, which would be the left side of the field from our vantage point, blowing a little bit toward the right, but Gio placed it just right, and that breeze kept it right in between the uprights, and the Bearcats lead the game by a score of 28-0. If there's anything to critique, the Bearcats scored too quickly.
Yeah.
A minute 41 left to go, but...
You say that, but they might get the ball back again and score again here.
Yeah, and they have timeouts remaining, so we'll see what happens as they have 2 up there. And as it has been said, you can't take them home with you on the bus or put them in the gator and take them back to the locker room. So we'll see what the Bearcats have coming up here.
And you're starting to get the sense out of Juniata, specifically on that big run, that 20-yard run, 26-yard run by Border, that the life is starting to get sucked out of Juniata here already in this first half.
They have spent a lot of time on defense, Chad.
Yes, they have.
So once again, is in my imagination, or every Juniata possession has been a 3-and-out.
That's pretty much been it. Absolutely. They don't have a first down to their name, I don't think, tonight, Dave. And let me double-check that.
Ball falls off the tee for Gio. He goes back. And
that is correct. They do not have a first down to their name.
So, yeah, the Bearcats could be playing for more here, leading the game 28-0. And this is the right... this is the right way to go. It's like when you have a team that's down, you always keep your foot on the accelerator, the boot on the throat, however you want to use that cliche. That's what you got to do. Scotcha with a line drive kick, hits at the 20, skids down at the 16, picked up out over the 20, 25, 30, and tripped up and falling down is Ethan Grove. with a return for the Indians out to the 32-yard line, 16 yards on the return, and a 1st and 10 for the Indians. And the wind has picked up now noticeably as the flags across the way where the Juniata fans are in the bleachers over there, which, by the way, it's a good turnout of the Juniata fans on a very cold night.
But a nice, crisp night. Good. Should have been a good, easy drive, down 22 for Juniata here this evening. It's a nice trip, so good to see them out here supporting their football team.
Can the Bearcat defense come up with another turnover here with 1:35 left to go? The handoff is, wow, you talk about being right in the playbook of the Indians as Ethan Grove went down a second he got to the line.
Owen Kaufman just met him right as soon as he got that ball, and that was it as this Juniata running game continues to go backwards, Dave.
Loss of 2 in the play and a 2nd down and 12 and a timeout called by the Bearcats. So maybe they will add some more points on.
20 yards of total offense for Juniata. 20 yards.
That's a big surprise. They've come close on a couple of takeaways, Chad.
Yes, they have.
But they have not been able to take it away as of yet. And the one takeaway in the game was an interception by Jarris Warner.
Trivia question winner.
Just unbelievable about how well this Huntington defense, how disciplined they're playing. Very, very disciplined football. The Juniata just has nowhere to go. And I don't know what you go in at halftime and say or try to make an adjustment here. Clearly, they're going to have to try to make one to claw back into this football game. But I don't know what they can do because they can't throw the football. Obviously, running the football isn't going anywhere. So Coach Klingensmith he's going to have his back up against a wall and how he's going to have his Indians respond here in the second half.
2nd and 12 from the 30 of the Indians. Juniata with the football. Back to passes Parson. And boy, I mean to tell you, did he have company in the backfield?
And that's intentional grounding.
Reed and Owen Kaufman were back there. And that leads, as he throws it right at their feet, to an intentional grounding. Second time that's happened tonight. First time did not get called.
No, and this is a huge penalty as it's a loss of down. It's an incomplete pass, but that's frustration, Dave. That's exactly what you're seeing out of this. That's frustration. Not only is that a spot foul, they mark it from the point of the foul, but it's 10 yards beyond that. So this is going to be
back at the 8-yard line, 9-yard line. Oh, no, they only take it back to the 14. They only did 5 there, Chad.
Okay, so
from the spot.
So it's going to be a let's see here, a 20 and a no, I'm sorry, it's a 16-yard penalty for Juniata, but again, it's a big one because it's a loss of down.
So now it is 3rd down for the Indians, and that timeout by the Bearcats is looking really big. A minute 22 left to go. And the Bearcats just showed us they can score in about 30 seconds. So let's see what happens here on a big 3rd down. It is a handoff, and the running play out over the 20. Up near the 25 goes R.J. Becker.
Piper.
Nope, I'm sorry, that was Zach Piper. And Piper is brought down shy of the 25, and that leads the Bearcats to another timeout. And it's a 4th down as well.
And Juniata 0 for 6 on 3rd downs, Dave. Again, not one first down in this first half.
It's great to have your defense up and running and all geared up for the football game, but you know what? The offense has to put some points on the board, and to this point, it has not been able to for Juniata. On the other side of the field, the Bearcats have put up 28 to lead it. 28-0, a minute 12 left to go in the first half. And once again, a thanks to our Bearcat broadcast boosters, the Huntingdon Moose Family Center, 223, D.C. Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family, Simone Chiropractic and Weight Loss, Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, and All-American Pizza and Subs, plus our anonymous alums who came through with donations to help bring you tonight's game. And also thanks to Deb Kramer and ASCF of Sharpsburg, Georgia. We're waiting for a peach cobbler, Deb.
Please. And a warm one tonight.
I might even pass on having some ice cream on a warm peach cobbler at this point. 4th down.
A scary theme for Juniata all night long here.
I see what the deal is. The reason I've misidentified Price a couple of times, and I should be used to his height, but his jersey scrunches up, and it looks like a 3. And Jonathan Price this time steps up to midfield and signals a fair catch. With 1:10 left to go, dare I say, more than enough time for the Bearcats to maybe put one in. Now, here's the only thing you can say. The Bearcats operating with no timeouts. But they got the ball back and a chance to go up by 35 if they can score and get an extra point.
And it is the passing game that's getting it done tonight. 180 yards for Andrew Hootie and 3 touchdowns, all 3 of those going to his record-setting receiver, Jonathan Price.
Man in motion is Wagner. Snap to Hootie, looking to his left, and he's going to be sacked.
Yeah.
The first really negative offensive play for the Bearcats in tonight's game, as coming back to sack him was Bryson Clark, I believe.
And that was a missed blocking assignment, as one of the offensive linemen for Huntington, we'll keep him remain anonymous, just got blown by at that point in time.
2nd down and 16. Hootie back to pass, steps up in the pocket, lets it go toward the near sideline. Price is wide open. The defender fell down, and Price is taken out of bounds at the 15. He was defended by Jeremiah Parson again, and Parson ended up down on the deck. And Jonathan Price continues. He's turning that record-setting performance into a record that may never be taken down. Never say never, but he's really piled up the yards here tonight.
We're going to give that to you here in 2 seconds as soon as I get moving here.
As he ended up picking up 35 on that catch, well, almost 35.
203 yards of receiving
34.
yards.
Wow. Want to have him on your fantasy team, huh?
Yeah, in the first half, you betcha. 220 yards for Andrew Hootie in the first half.
Andrew is going to be sacked again as he's brought down at about the 30-yard line. The Bearcats have no timeouts, and they try to get back behind the line so that Andrew could spike the football here and stop the clock at least. Clock rolling, 20 seconds. The team up to the line. Hootie takes the snap and spikes it. 15 seconds left for the Bearcats to work with, and that's enough time. You'd probably get 2 plays off the way this team works. And Andrew's a little bit hobbly as he makes his way over the sideline, but kind of favoring his right side there a little bit, and maybe his left.
Hootie with 220 yards.
And guess what? Nick Troja is going to go in.
Uh-oh.
So Andrew comes out. He's got some grass in his face guard.
The single game record for yards is 251, set by Andrew earlier this year.
And back to pass is Troja. Troja lets it go, intended for Border on a screen, incomplete. And Ian did something that surprises me. Ethan O'Donnell was the defender for Juniata, and he gave him a shove that he really didn't need to. I don't know what happened prior to that. I shouldn't say that. Maybe that was induced by something that he did, but kind of surprising to see that. Because Ian Border is a young guy and has his emotions in check.
Yep, you're exactly right with that.
So the ball at the 30-yard line after the pass incompletion, and Troja is going to finish out the first half. As I said before, with 15 seconds, you got 2 plays left, 7 left now. And Troja in an empty backfield, back to pass, steps up. He's going to have to run with the football. He's down over the 20, the 15, the 10, steps out of bounds too late. The first half has come to an end, but a decidedly lopsided Bearcat first half as we head to halftime to score Huntingdon 28 and Juniata nothing. At halftime, coming up, we'll talk to Trish Coral, VP of Marketing with Ben Highlands Community College out there in Margie Drive. Greg Banks with the interview, and then we'll be back to total up those stats as Chad is feverishly working even as we speak. We'll be back with all that as it is halftime of tonight's game between Huntingdon and Juniata. Once again, the score at the half, Bearcats 28, Juniata nothing on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, DC Goodman & Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence. All-American Pizza and Subs in downtown Huntingdon offers up the family meal deal with a large 1-topping pizza, a dozen wings, and a 2-liter Pepsi product for only $21.99. All-American also presents Double Punch Month, where you can save big on a large sub or lunch special during the month of November. Stop by All-American Pizza and Subs at 612 Washington Street in downtown Huntingdon, home of the Bearcat Sub. Call 643-0222 for deliveries, open until 9 p.m., closed Monday.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community with loads of activities all year round. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 proudly sponsors social events for members and their guests, plus you can enjoy their Friday food specials beginning at 5 p.m. every Friday. Saturday entertainment, plus check our website for other exciting upcoming events all year round. There's always something happening at the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Join us today. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of ensured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon.
Sometimes facts are hard to face. Statistics show that obesity is a problem in the United States, and it's not getting any better. At Simone Family Chiropractic, we understand this problem. We also know that obesity leads to very serious health problems later in life. There is a way to cleanse your body and get back to optimum health. It is called the Doctor-Supervised Chirothin System, and it teaches you how and what to eat in the real world. Call us at Simone Family Chiropractic at 814-643-2616, or stop in and see us at 613 Washington Street in Huntingdon, across from All American Pizza, or find us on Facebook.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community with loads of activities all year round. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 proudly sponsors social events for members and their guests, plus you can enjoy their Friday food specials beginning at 5 p.m. every Friday. Saturday entertainment, plus check our website for other exciting upcoming events all year round. There's always something happening at the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Join us today.
Hi, I'm Andrew Finkel. You're listening to the Huntingdon Bearcats on the airnetwork.net.
There's a name that we've called a couple of times in the first half, Andrew Finkel. And, of course, the Bearcats out to a 28-0 lead at the half. As we get ready for the second half, Chad has some quick numbers for us as far as the first half statistics go.
They were quick on one side, but not so quick on the other. It was a dominating first half by the Bearcats, Dave. Huntingdon with 14 first downs in that first half. Juniata with 0. Huntingdon with 111 net yards of rushing. Juniata with 30. Remember that number 30, Dave. Huntingdon with 220 yards of passing. Juniata with 0. So I said remember that 30. Huntingdon 331 yards of total offense, and Juniata with just 30. All of that coming by rush. Not one single first down. They were 0 for 6 and punted 7 times in that first half. So not a great first half for Juniata. So we look individually here for the Bearcats. Border 12 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown as he leads all Bearcat ground carriers. Drew Weglar's 2 carries for 11 yards, and then quarterback Nick Trohawk coming in and getting a 17-yard scamper there at the end of the half. For Huntingdon in passing, Hootie 12 of 16, 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. Price, you get this, 9 catches, 203 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And I'm just going to highlight this real quick because Jonathan Price has now set a new single-season record with receptions, a new single-season record with yards, and a new single-season record with touchdowns. He's also set the single-game yardage record with 203 yards, and he is still going. He is also on the cusp of the single-game receptions record, which is held by J.B. Gibbony. He had 10 against Hollidaysburg in 1999. Jonathan with 9. So, we are looking at quite an outstanding performance. Again, Dave, we had said that if Jonathan Price gets going, it's going to be a long night for Juniata, and boy, is it ever a long night for Juniata.
Well, and getting him going is a byproduct of getting Andrew Hootie going.
Absolutely.
I mean, Andrew, the first possession, Bearcats really weren't out there pressing the passing game. And once Andrew got that first good throw out of his arm, that was all he needed. And he just continued. Some of the passes he made would have made McSorley blush, I think. I mean, the way he led every receiver that he had, with maybe the notable exception of this one touchdown where Jonathan Price is just kind of hanging around here at about the 1 yard line. And there was nobody around him. So he didn't have to lead him because Jonathan wasn't running at that point. He's just kind of marking time down at the 1 yard line, caught the pass, and took a step into the end zone. But the only thing that was of any worry was Hootie was sacked on that final drive of the first half, and he was hobbled, and Nick Troha had to come in. And we'll see if Andrew is set and ready to go, or if that's the kind of thing where being up 28-0, maybe you go ahead, if it's the kind of Nick or Ding. I see him down here warming up. He looks okay, but those are the kinds of things that enter your mind. Just go ahead and let Nick Troha get some postseason experience.
Right, and especially with next week, coming up almost as a certainty here as we stare down at the scoreboard in this 28-0 lead. It pretty much seems insurmountable. You start asking yourself, those questions as a coach, Dave, as to, what do we do player personnel-wise to make sure that we are still healthy for that District 6 3A championship that will be next Friday night at Mansion Park, because you definitely want to be going into that game as healthy as you possibly can.
By the way, looking at Price running out on the field, he brings to mind to me, and of course everyone knows I'm, maybe next to baseball, hockey is maybe my second sport, and I see Jonathan Price coming out on the field. I immediately, my default is to Connor. Well, to me, his name's still Sherry, even though he wants to be called Sherry now. It's like, we've been calling you Sherry for 2 years. Anyway, let me get off that.
Don't fire him, Dave.
No, I will not fire Connor Sherry. But that's when I see Price. He's that kind of guy. He just hustles every play. Wow. And he's got, the other thing about him, Chad, is he has some physical strength to him.
Absolutely.
Because you get into these hand battles when you're out there and the guy defending you. And Jonathan Price wins most of those battles.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just, I'm surprised with as good of what secondary that Juniata had. They have no answer for him. His third touchdown, there was nobody around him whenever he caught that football, Dave. They just do not have an answer for stopping this Bearcat football passing game. Coincidentally, when I look back into Week 6, Huntingdon threw for a then school record 251 yards against this very same Juniata team. So what they're doing tonight really is no different than what they did back in Week 6 when it was a little bit warmer for us.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
So it's kind of the same blueprint. Play great defense, utilize your passing game, and see what you get at the end.
Bearcats ready to receive to our right. Juniata kicking off on the left side of the field as we're set to go in the second half. Tonight's game will be rebroadcast at 10 o'clock tonight, and then again tomorrow at noon on the Air Network and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Short kickoff, and that's fielded by Wagner. Wagner's out over the 35, the 40, now gets away from the crowd. 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 20, 10, touchdown, but there's a flag at midfield.
We've got Laundry on the field.
Flag on the play.
And, of course, everyone's cheers
this is either
will go
a
to
76-yard
it's a
touchdown,
hold against the Bearcats
hold
on the return.
Against the Bearcats.
That's the difference between 76 and 26 yards. That's what that goes to.
That's okay.
That's all right.
That's okay. Right. It was fun to watch. And it was great to see Jacob Wagner get a return.
But, Dave, it just goes to show you how dangerous this football team is in all three phases of the football game. And I kind of pointed that out in some literature I put out earlier in the week, that the fact that they just get it done. Their special teams is kind of hinted that they're second to none, but they really are. That was going to be Wagner's second kickoff return for a touchdown this year. Price has a punt return. These guys, Huntington's deep all across the field and in all phases of the football game.
Not so bad. The penalty mark from the spot of the foul takes it back to the 43 roughly, where it is 1st and 10 for the Bearcats. Andrew Hootie is out there. He ran out on the field. Everything looks good to go. And the snap to Hootie and the quick handoff to Ian Border. Border gets out near the 45-yard line where he's taken down, gain of 2, and a 2nd down and 8. By the way, Chad, I just thought I'd let you know that we're kind of overwhelmed tonight by the amount of folks that are tuned into our broadcast. And believe me, we appreciate each and every one of you. Sometimes we do shout-outs to people when they let us know they're listening. And Greg Banks has told me there are just so many listening tonight that we'd be here for the rest of the game just reading names. Yeah,
that's great. And if you knew how much we really enjoyed doing this, your support is well appreciated. Thank you very much.
Hootie in the shotgun, and he hands it off to Border, and a little misdirection there. He gets over midfield down to about the 49-yard line and sets up a 3rd and short. Maybe about 2 yards to go for a Bearcat 1st down. Make it a yard. 3rd and a yard for the Bearcats. Leading the game 28-0 with 10:45 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
I don't see the I formation coming out here, the familiar I, but I'm still going to run this. We'll see if...
I don't know. Go ahead and run Border to the left. Yep. That seems to work well, too. Well, he switches over to the right side of Hootie now. And it's going to be a quick pass. And the pass is complete to... That was complete to Zook.
Yep.
Draven Zook then makes a spin move. He looked like he was going to be taken down after no gain or maybe even a loss. Makes a great spin move, gets forward, and gets a Bearcat 1st down.
Yeah, good job that time by Zook to be able to know where the line of scrimmage is, because he absorbed the first hit. If he'd have went down right there, they wouldn't have got the 1st down. But he was able to go ahead and take that hit and plod forward and get the 1st down for Huntington here as they continue to march along towards that continuous clock, Dave.
And the Bearcats, who are not in the game right now, are starting to don the old winter coats on the sideline, despite the fact that the heaters are up and running. Here is Jonathan Price on a jet sweep over the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown flag at midfield.
Flag on the play.
And Mike Hootie looks mad at somebody, and Mike Hootie's an offensive lineman, a Division I offensive lineman at Delaware. So him getting upset with you as an offensive lineman, he knows what he's talking about. And that's going to negate a 47-yard touchdown run by Jonathan Price and turn this into about a 13-yard penalty against the Bearcats.
That has been the biggest bugaboo for this team tonight. And, of course, it's a spot foul, so it's marked from midfield back to the Bearcat 40 and sets up a 1st down and Stone Valley Country Club.
Yes.
So that's about how far they have to go at this point.
1st down.
Although there are a lot of trout in that particular area of Stone Creek.
Good fishing.
Andrew Hootie in the shotgun as usual. Man in motion is Zook. Now Hootie back to pass. Pocket collapses. Andrew gets away. Going to his left and almost completed a little safety screen pass to Ben Briggs. But it falls incomplete. Ben's had the ball in his hands 2 times tonight and just unable to maintain possession.
Yep, and a good job that time by Andrews. He was able just to keep his head downfield and look. And all of a sudden his tight end freed up a little bit there. Ben unable to haul that in. You're right, his 2nd drop of the evening. But Andrew did a really good job of keeping focused as he's running to the left and out of bounds to try to get that ball unloaded.
Chad, he's got so much confidence that once he eluded the initial wave that came through there, he just knew he was going to be able to get away.
Well, he's already taken this defense apart 1 time this year, and he's doing it the 2nd time too.
Fakes the handoff to Border, rolls to his left, looks downfield. Ben Briggs has it in his hands again, drops it, but he was covered just a little bit too closely by Ethan O'Donnell, and the flag comes in. I'm expecting a pass interference call.
It should be a pass interference. McDonald was all over the back of Briggs that time. So
indeed it is.
Should be a 10-yard penalty. It'll still remain second down here, but it'll give the Bearcats, get them a little bit closer.
Yeah, it'll set them up for a second down and 9.
Yeah, it'll get them a little bit closer to that trout stream. That should be like a second down and 14. No, it's 15-yard penalty. That's right. It's 15-yard penalty. So, yep, second down and maybe 8, 9. Yep,
8,
right
9, somewhere in that
Depends
area.
on where they put it down.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I are always confused on that. So
Against the Indians.
Brown trout for breakfast. How about that?
Hey, trout and eggs is something good.
Oh, my.
Second down.
You betcha. 9:40 left to go here in the third quarter. 28-0 Bearcats with the lead. Andrew Hootie in the shotgun, as usual. And back to pass. And he has to tuck and run as the pressure comes in. Looks downfield. Still has that concentration. Lets it go. Complete to Warner. Jarris Warner down to the 20-yard line. Flag comes in at the end of the play. Probably against Juniata. But what a job again by Andrew Hootie.
Absolutely.
To avoid the tackles. And as Chad said before, keep that concentration pointed downfield, and there wide open was Jarris Warner, and he hit him with no problem. I am just so impressed with him and his ability to maintain.
Against the Bearcats.
Oh, my goodness, the penalty is against the Bearcats. The flag is there at about the 24-yard line, so that'll take it back to the 34, but the Bearcats should have a first down regardless of that penalty after the catch.
Still good for Bearcats. First and 10.
It's a 21-yard pass completion. It is
first
good for
and
a
10
first down.
At the 34, we'll call it for now. And the clock starts to roll again.
And Andrew with 243 yards of passing. The record is 251. He did it in week 6. He was on the verge of doing it again to Juniata.
Ian Border, nice spin move. And then as the tackler came in, it's just like Ian gets that surge of energy and just pulled the tackler right with him down to about the 30-yard line for a gain of 4 and a second and 6.
Of course, Ian Border now up to 91 yards of rushing, so he's approaching the century mark. Offense all over the place here as Juniata just does not have an answer for this Bearcat offense, Dave.
Not tonight. Bearcats with the opening possession here in the second half, and they're still on their opening drive of the second half, leading the game 28-0, trying to add on. Briggs shifts sides of the field, goes from the right side to the left side. Hootie looks to the right side, lets it go down the sideline, intended for Jacob Wagner, and it is incomplete. Defense by Bryce Leonard. And it brings up a third down and 6 for the Bearcats. What do you dial up in this case, a 3rd and 6?
Well, I think you're sitting in 2-down territory, so you can afford to run the football. I see Alex Mike checking in and Draven Zook checking in, so it looks like it's going to be a pass. Trying to get it maybe out into Zook into the flat somewhere. But, again, I think you're sitting in 2-down territory, so you really have the opportunity to do whatever you want to do here, Dave.
3rd and 6. Let's see what they dial up. Hootie, as usual, in the shotgun. Briggs makes his move, and it's going to be Hootie on the quarterback run. Gets down over the 25, the 20, down to the 15-yard line, and he's finally tackled, and a dispute from Jeremiah Parson. I don't know. I think he thought he was held there, and there was no flag that flew in on that particular play. Andrew Hootie down to the 15-yard line, and another Bearcats first down.
Huntington now 7 of 11 for third down conversions, Dave. 7 of 11. That's amazing. That's
it is.
That's an amazing stat. Considering
70% conversion on third downs. Yeah.
And when the other team has 0, it's just, whatever.
So as though the Juniata defense didn't have enough time on the field in the first half, the second half, as we have taken 4 minutes off the clock, has been all Juniata defense so far, as the Bearcats are on an extended drive and timeouts called by the Bearcats with 8 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Do want to thank our anonymous alums who came through with donations to help to bring you tonight's game. The PIAA broadcast fees continue to escalate as we move further in the playoffs, so we need your help. And we also want to thank Deb Kramer and ASCF of Sharpsburg, Georgia. They made a great contribution to help bring you these broadcasts. And, of course, our Bearcat broadcast boosters who have been with us from the beginning of the season, the Moose Huntingdon Family Center 223, DC Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family, Simone Chiropractic and Weight Loss, Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, and All-American Pizza and Subs. And I suggest tomorrow for lunch, what you do is go to All-American Pizza and Subs and get one of those family packs that they have. Go back at noon and tune in to either 94.1 FM in Huntingdon or theairnetwork.net and relive this playoff game. Wildcat, direct snap, Border down over the 10, the 5, touchdown. Ian Border with another Bearcat touchdown, and the Bearcats go up by a score of 34-0, and he's now over that century mark.
That's 106 yards for Ian and 2 touchdowns. And we saw that that's the Wildcat that they ran against Central with Weglars on the opposite side of him. So, again, a little bit more confusion to what the defense has to try to think about, hey, what are we going to do here? And Ian scampers in from 15 yards out. And really, Dave, the competitive nature of this football game is gone. It's gone at this point.
Gio Scotcha to make it 35-0, and he does. 7:54 left to go in the third quarter. The score, Bearcats 35 and Juniata 0. First round of the playoffs for the Bearcats. Second game of the postseason for Juniata. They got the win last week against Bald Eagle area. And the one thing that was a big part of that first playoff game for them was turnovers. And although Ian Border did fumble back in the first quarter of tonight's game, that's been the only turnover that the Bearcats have committed in tonight's game.
Yeah, and it's really, besides the penalties, which is 6 for 63 yards, it's really the only thing that you can look back on and say, wow.
Pretty much a mistake-free game.
Mistake-free game, yep. Dave, which is exactly what they needed to come in and play tonight. Against, this is a good Juniata team. I don't want to take anything away from them. This is an 8-3 football team coming in here. That's really good. They've got some good star athletes. Bryson Clark is a good, solid running back. Ben Lauver is a Division II or higher tight end. Doesn't have a catch tonight at all. Nothing. Not been a part. I mean, we've not called his name offensively at all. And I said going in, Juniata had to get him involved. They've not been able to do that.
Nope. The passing game has been non-existent for the Juniata Indians. And therefore, we sit at a 35-0 score. We'll see exactly how they decide to approach the second half offensively as Gio Scotcha prepares to kick off. Kick is away, and it'll be fielded at the 15-yard line, out over the 20, 25, 30. And on the return, Ethan Grove is brought down at about the 31-yard line. That's where it will be Juniata's ball, 1st and 10.
Again, Dave, you're right. We'll see what type of halftime adjustments Juniata has made, only having 30 yards of total offense in the first half.
Yeah. This will be interesting to see. I suspect the first play here is going to be a handoff.
And to me, that doesn't say that Juniata's playing bad offensive football. It just tells you how great defensively Huntington is playing tonight.
By the way, I did not mention this. Juniata in their road all-white uniforms, red numbers trimmed in black front and back. Back to passes, Parson lets it go down the right sideline. It's complete, and it will be a touchdown as defender Jarris Warner falls down. And you talked about Lauver getting involved in the game, and he just did in a big way.
Well, in a bigger way than what we want to allude to here. We have been talking about the third quarter all year long and how Huntington is not allowed to point. That is the first point Huntington has allowed in the third quarter all season long. 35-6
the score. And it looked like Jarris Warner got his feet kind of tangled up there and went down, and Lauver just went unmolested into the end zone from about the 40-yard line.
He's just that good of an athlete that you have to find a way to get him the football, and I think Juniata realizes, hey, we've got to take shots to do what we need to do here, because Huntington hit that 35-0 score. That means we've got a continuous clock on our hands.
Jim McLaughlin with the hold and Esch with the kick. Chris Esch hisses? No, he hits it, is what he does. And it makes the score Bearcats 35 and Juniata 7. But that passing yardage that had been sorely missing from Juniata's offense has suddenly propagated itself in a big way.
Yeah, he is the guy that Juniata has to look to try to crawl back into this football game. But again, that all-important score to come out in a half and get that 35-0 lead for Huntingdon, and to get the clock continuously rolling through the second half really makes this a huge mountain for Juniata to try to climb.
Well, here's the first thing that has to happen. Okay, there is life for the Indians now, but the thing is, are you going to be able to stop this offense, which primarily you have not been able to stop all night long? First series, they were able to stop the Bearcats on the first series, and then you had the fumble by Border, but since then, it's been scoring drive after scoring drive.
Is Esch. Returning for the Bearcats are Price and Wagner.
And we will see here what Juniata dials up. One of these times it's going to be an onside kick, Dave. It's got to be to try to get possessions back.
Sure. Not this time, though, as that one's kicked away from Jonathan Price, but he tracks it down at about the 14, out over the 20, 25-30, out near the 35-yard line. So a 21-yard return for Jonathan Price. Bearcats ball 1st and 10 at the 35.
Price on the return for the Bearcats. Tackled by Barton.
Yeah, it'll be home run hitting time to go back to a baseball analogy here. Yeah, Trace McSorley time for Juniata the rest of the way through. But if they can't stop Huntingdon on offense, if they can't do anything right here, even on this drive, Juniata's in big trouble.
Out of our plethora of listeners that are tuned into the game tonight, we want to thank Steve Pooge Hoffman, listening in South Carolina. Pooge, a former Bearcat football player and a member of the class of 72. Andrew Hootie rolls to his left, lets it go, complete to Price again. Out at the 42-yard line. 7-yard pass completion and a 2nd down and 3.
So it just continues to rack up here for these two, as now Price has tied the all-time, the single-game record with 10 receptions, 210 yards for him. Andrew Hootie is 2 yards away from breaking his own single-game passing yardage record.
The Bearcats in the process of rewriting the record books tonight against Juniata.
Keeping me thinking.
What a great way to do it in a postseason game. Here's a little jet sweep action, and it ends up being Drew Weglars, the ball carrier, as Weglars goes for a 1st down out over the 45 to the 46.
Weglars on the carry for the Bearcats.
And the Bearcats 1st and 10 from their own 41 with 6:13 left to go here in the third quarter, and the Bearcats up 35 to 7.
Well, and again, Huntingdon just keeps moving these chains. They can eat this clock up real quick and limit the amount of possessions that Juniata has left in them.
Empty set backfield. Ian Border now will come back into the backfield with Hootie and some motion. It's going to be Hootie on the carry. Andrews over the 50, down to the 45, and eventually tripped up at about the 43-yard line of the Indians, but it's good for another Bearcat 1st down. How many yards rushing does Andrew have tonight?
We'll give it to you here in a second as soon as I tally on that 12-yard carry for him. So that's going to be 28 yards rushing for Andrew. He has those sacks, so that's what's kind of hurting his statistics there. He's got 20 yards and sacks sitting here, too, or he'd have almost 50.
Yeah. Great night, though, for the young man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 200.
Coming into the game, Nick Troha, as he makes his way out onto the field. And is Hootie still out there? No, I guess not.
No.
Trying to find him on the sideline, unable to do so. Wildcat snapped a Border. Border, after he just sidestepped 3 guys.
Yeah.
And then started down the field and eventually was tripped up and brought down at the 40.
Good job of making something out of nothing that time.
Boy, you bet.
3 yards.
Troha makes his way over toward the sideline, looks in. Here comes Jacob Wagner with a play. He and Troha make their way back to the huddle at about the 45-yard line of Juniata. As the clock rolls with 4:50 now left to go in the third quarter, a 35-7 Bearcat lead.
And again, that's that continuous clock that makes this, again, like Mount Everest that Juniata has to climb to get back into this thing.
And the handoff to Border ends up, it's a bad exchange between Troha and Border, and the ball ends up on the ground as Nick was a little bit behind Ian that time. And now Andrew Hootie comes back into the game and Nick Troha out. I don't think it was necessarily because of the fact that resulted in a fumble.
No, it was not. But, that one was on Trojas. He just never really got a handle on that ball to be able to hand it off to Ian.
And when he did try to hand it to him, Ian was probably almost a yard beyond him at that point. 4:13 left to go, third quarter. Andrew Hootie back in the game. Lets one go down the middle of the field. The pass is complete to Alex Mikett. Mikett gets down over the 15 and is stopped at about the 12-yard line. Another Bearcat first down.
Jeez.
As the yardage in the air for Andrew Hootie on a very cold and now non-windy night as the flags have finally calmed down. He's, near 300 yards?
No, we're going to wait till they spot this ball till I end up deciding where I'm going to put this at. So
I'm going to call that the 13.
That's exactly what I'm going to call it. So that's a 30-yard pickup that time for Andrew Hootie. So it gives him 280 yards on the night.
Hootie now out as a receiver because we got some Wildcat action going on, and it's Ian Border who takes the direct snap and lunges forward for maybe a yard. Let's see where they mark it.
Brought down by Clark on the play.
I'd actually like to see a pass from Border to Hootie. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, you might
Talk
tonight.
about a wrinkle.
You might tonight.
Talk about a wrinkle in the playbook. Clock continues to roll with 3:20 now left to go in the third quarter. Bearcats 35, Juniata 7.
So that is a new single-game passing record. 280 yards by Andrew Hootie this evening.
Wow. Direct snap once again to Ian Border. He lunges forward and is brought down at about the 10. So he picks up a couple there. And we've got ourselves a third down and a long, let's call it.
Huntington 8 of 13, 8 of 12. This will be their 13th attempt on third downs.
Steve Jackson, George Green, we know you guys are always out there, and we're happy you do that each and every week. Bearcat football on the Air Network and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Steve and George, good to have you aboard as always. And we're going to continue with the Wildcat. They're getting a lot of snaps in here for maybe the potential of, and it's a handoff to Weglars by Ian Border, and Drew just squirts through there. Kind of like the old, you got those grape seeds. If you don't get the seedless grapes and you spit those babies out, that's the way you spit out through
5
there.
yards. I imagine they're going to go for it here on fourth down.
Yes, fourth down and a couple for the Bearcats.
Inside 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
Bearcats trying to add on to a 35-7 lead. And the Juniata fans, to their credit, still hanging in there with their Indians.
Well, it's cold. They're probably stuck to their seats over there, too. So
Ian Border on the keep. He's into the end zone, touchdown. No flags.
Border on the keeper for the Bearcats.
So the Wildcat.
Touchdown.
And what I was going to allude to, I think they're getting some practice here because this ended up being fruitful. And not that they're necessarily telegraphing anything about playing Central next week, but the Wildcat was successful for them against the Scarlet Dragons in the regular season game.
And so was that I formation too, Dave.
Yes.
We saw that as well. So you're right. Maybe they're not trying to telegraph anything, but regardless, Huntington, that ball was not kicked well as he missed out. Gio's extra point was shanked far to the left, but
he hooked it. Extra points no good, but the score is Bearcats 41 and Juniata 7. A minute 33 left in the third quarter. Yeah, we won't know who the competition for the Bearcats will be until tomorrow when it's Forest Hills and Central. Where is that game being played?
That game is in Sidman, so it's at Forest Hills, which is a tough venue to play. A very nice venue. If you're making the trip, the facility is really. I mean, we like to think that we've got a great facility here in Huntington, and we do. There's no doubt about it. Our field house is great. Forest Hills is really something else.
Man, it is. It is. And from a broadcaster's standpoint, I have never been treated any better anywhere because the folks at Forest Hills basically roll out a buffet And it's all brought in by the people that are involved around the program. But I'm telling you, week after week, I had the privilege of doing games there with Atlantic Broadband and the Game of the Week. And I never went home hungry if we were at Forest Hills. Of that, I can assure you.
Well,
and
I should not. I might go home hungry, but I better not be at home and be hungry, as I think there's a couple empanadas from Taco Bell awaiting me to warm up in my microwave as I warm up when I get home this evening. But
it's an empanada kind of night.
It's an empanada kind of night. That's exactly right. Empanada here and empanada there. But Huntington having their way, Dave. 41-7 here, 1:33 to go, and just. Pretty much that being that 5-yard run being the absolute knockout punch to Juniata.
Greg Banks and Banks Media, of course, putting all this together for you. And Greg Banks now wants recognition of the fact that he was the executive producer of the Game of the Week on Atlantic Broadband. Here's a return for Juniata and some nice positive yardage that time as Ethan Grove gets out over the 35 to about the 38-yard line. So a nice return for Grove. And something positive for the Indians here in the second half.
So we will say that because I've been talking a lot about records being broken, Ian Border now has 29 total touchdowns on the year, that breaking the previous mark of 28 that he set last year. So it's going to be a busy evening for me getting all this stuff set down here for the Daily News.
As I said,
tomorrow, but records, they are a-falling tonight.
Yep, the Bearcats are rewriting the record books tonight. Indians with the football. And here's a pitch back. And this one goes to Lauber. And Lauber fumbles the ball as he goes down. I believe the Bearcats have it.
They do.
Bearcats recover the fumble. Was that Mikett?
That's Werner.
Werner.
But Mikett blew it up to begin with. They spotted something. The whole defense, the whole right side of the defense was pointing and pointing and pointing. And they spotted something, and they just went after it and totally shut down Juniata there.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is the best example. There's a part of me that hates to see a team that's got some momentum, and I thought the Bearcats picked up some momentum in that game up at Warren after having dropped the game to Central. But I'll tell you what, these kids came out more than ready to play.
Oh, my.
Out here to make a statement tonight. Handoff, Hootie, Border, 10, 5, touchdown.
And there goes a points record. Is now Ian is over 184 points for the evening. He is now up to 187, and that is a new single season record for points scored. So they keep falling. Now I think that's all. I don't know that any more can go here, but we'll see. As I've got, folks, I'm telling you, I've got a busy evening to be able to make sure that the Daily News gets all this information tomorrow, because there's a lot of it.
Bearcats going to go for 2 after Gio missed the point after.
That was a 20-yard scamper, right?
Yes.
Am I right with that? All right.
Yes.
Thanks. I'm furiously right. Forgive me, folks. This is a busy night for sure. As Ian now runs up to 237 yards.
Here's a pass. Ben Briggs once again had it in his hands, couldn't come down with it, and Jonathan Price comes up and says, hey, that was meant for me. But Ben Briggs unable to come up with the football, so the 2-point conversion attempt fails, and the score remains Bearcats 47 and Juniata 7. So the Indians just unable to. They got that one big offensive play and a pass completion to Ben Lauber for a touchdown. But other than that, they have just been unable to make anything happen. Of course, that touchdown a result of a fumble on a trick play, if you will, that was being attempted by the Indians. So I think they've tried to pull as many pages out of their playbook as they could offensively. They may have a few more, and I'm sure they'll try them. But, the one thing that came to mind, I saw them do that, halfback option pass back in the first half, and it's like, oh, okay, you guys saw the Central film.
Yeah, really.
And it's like the problem was the big difference between their attempt at it and what Central did was the halfback was a lot further across the field when he attempted the pass.
Right.
So that's the big difference in that particular attempt. Maybe they'll try it again. Who knows? Gio Scaccio will kick it off, though. Has it teed up at the 48 and on his way up to the football.
And I got to believe coming up you're going to see some fresh shirts for the Bearcats.
A pretty kickoff, which is kind of muffed, but then picked up and tearing up the field to about the 34-yard line is Zach Piper. Did he fumble at the end?
He
or
did
is he
fumble at the end.
Down
We'll
by contact.
But
I think they're going to call him down by contact at the 35.
Well, yeah, he got hit from the 35 back to the 33, which is why we're saying that ball got jarred loose. His forward progression gets him out to the 35, but somebody in one of those blue jerseys knocked him 2 yards back the other way, and he fell down to the ground, which is what the cause for excitement was, is to see if it was going to be a fumble or not.
And the clock rolls once again down to the final 20 seconds of quarter number 3. Bearcats 47, Juniata 7. Parson. And the handoff. And that goes pretty much nowhere.
Clark on the carry for Juniata.
As Clark is brought down after a gain of about 2. 2nd down and 8 for the Indians, and they're going to walk to the sideline because that's the end of the third quarter. We have 3 in the books here at Huntingdon Bearcats Field. The score, Bearcats 47 and Juniata 7. Back with the fourth quarter after this on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, DC Goodman & Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence. All-American Pizza and Subs in downtown Huntingdon offers up the family meal deal with a large one-topping pizza, a dozen wings, and a 2-liter Pepsi product for only $21.99. All-American also presents Double Punch Month, where you can save big on a large sub or lunch special during the month of November. Stop by All-American Pizza and Subs at 612 Washington Street in downtown Huntingdon, home of the Bearcat Sub. Call 643-0222 for deliveries, open until 9 p.m., closed Monday.
I'm Jairus Warner. I'm listening to the Bearcats on the airnetwork.net.
And we are back as it's a quarterback keep. Jeremiah Parson, the ball carrier, as he gets the ball near first down yardage. It'll be a 3rd down and 1 for Juniata with the ball. We'll have to call that at their 44. They need to get to the 45 for a first down. By the way, noticing Trish there on the halftime show, Trish Coral, part of a lot of sports broadcasts on Atlantic Broadband as well. So it was good to hear Trish. Oh, my. Lauver jumped the gun just a little bit, and he holds both hands up to his helmet like, geez, what a dummy I am. So that'll be a 5-yard penalty to send him back.
Yep. Not on the same page that time as the rest of the offense, Dave.
Nope. Trying to make something happen. And
that was an opportunity for them to earn really their first down. Now, I award first downs on, touchdowns that get beyond the first down marker. So they do have one on the 70-yard pass play to Lauver earlier on, but really they haven't earned a first down the legitimate way all game long.
Yeah, darn it.
3 quarters.
Said Coach States has given you guys a reaming. Here's the pass intended for Lauver. Great defense, Jairus Warner, as he was up in the air with Lauver, and neither player able, that is, to come down with the football. It falls incomplete, and it's 4th down. So, darn it, you guys that haven't earned a first down yet.
Still haven't. And Jairus Warner having a nice game, too. Dave, we saw him coming off of the sidelines 2 weeks ago up in Warner. We weren't really sure what his status was going to be moving forward. Does it look like it was his leg was a pretty serious injury?
End of the third quarter and and all of the fourth on crutches.
Yep.
On the sideline.
He's come back and played a fabulous game here tonight.
I'll say. That's why I asked Coach Hootie about him in the pregame. Here's a punt that hits at the 35. It's fielded by Price at the 28. Starts back, spins. He is something. He is slippery as a pig that's all greased up.
Tripped up on the play by
man. He is something. Jonathan Price, they're going to mark him almost at the 35-yard line, so we'll end up with about a 7-yard return out of that. So all that effort, that all goes into the positive yardage category for Jonathan Price, and he's got plenty of positive yardage tonight.
He has 263 all-purpose yards tonight.
Are you kidding me?
Including 210 receiving.
Are you kidding me?
I don't kid when it comes to my stats, Dave.
Wow. That is something.
It's like Dragnet with me. Just the facts, man.
Yeah, okay.
There's
one that's tipped, and it's still caught by Price. Eludes 2 tacklers and continues to drag guys out to the 45 for a first down, as Chad said.
And that is the new receptions mark. With 11 catches tonight, Price breaks a previous record held by J.B. Gibney back in 1999 against Hollidaysburg, as he is now out to 220 yards.
Hey, I got to say, I want to say thanks to Greg Banks, because I couldn't have been blessed with being able to come out and call football games of the best team that I have seen in a long time.
Yeah, they're good.
And it's a keep by Hootie. And he fumbles. Good strip. As he got out over the midfield stripe, and they stripped it away from him.
And that'll bring up a Juniata first down.
Wade Moore stripped him of the ball as he went over the midfield stripe, falls on it, and it will be Indians football, 1st and 10 at their own 49. Second time the Bearcats have fumbled, so 2 turnovers on the night for the Bearcats. And Nick Troha is warming up in earnest here on the sideline. I suspect that the next time the Bearcats get the football, it'll be Nick's team offensively.
Yep, I would agree with that. Hootie's probably going to finish with 290 yards.
Parson with a handoff, and this defense.
It's swarming. There's nowhere to go.
No. I mean, you got a guy here in Bryson Clark that led this team throughout the course of the season, but tonight it's just been a complete shutdown. Clark gained 467. And, yeah, those aren't gaudy yards like Ian Border had, but he was still the leading rusher.
Right, and they're a multi-back set. So there's 3. I think there's 3 running backs up over or very close to 300 yards in this offense. And they have, let's see here.
Actually, they have 3 with 400.
There you go.
And a 4th one at 388.
So they mix it up.
Yeah. Nothing has worked, though, so far. Here's a handoff on an option kind of play as that one goes to Zach Piper, and Piper gets over the midfield stripe and is brought down at the Bearcat 47. 3rd down and 5 now for Juniata. 7:48 left to go in the game, 47-7 Bearcats lead. And I think we would be safe in saying that the Bearcats will be taking on the winner of the Forest Hill Central game next Friday night at Mansion Park in Altoona. It'll take me a whole 10 minutes to get to the football field.
There you go. It'll take me longer. But 26 yards rushing for Juniata tonight.
Parson 26. With a pass, too high for Lauber, defended by Jonathan Price, who gives him a little shot in the back.
They have to start going for it now. Are they going to punt?
Yeah, it's 4th down.
Well, I mean, I just figured they'd start going for it now just to see what they want to do, but that's not going to happen. They're going to punt. But
I guess there's a time when you say it's time to cut the losses. And at 47-7, and just your offense had one glimmer, one bright spot, a big completion to Lauber that resulted in a score that broke up, as Chad pointed out, the Bearcats' scoreless run on 3rd quarter for the whole season till now. But believe me, all the other records that have been rewritten, just unbelievable. Price fields the ball at the 15-yard line on the punt, spins around. Honest to goodness, here's a guy that probably should have been stopped for either nothing on the return or maybe even a 2-yard loss, spins around and ends up gaining 5 on the return out to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10, Bearcat ball at their 20. And although we saw Troha warming up in earnest, it's Andrew Hootie that goes out onto the field.
Well, and you know, I with 6:31 to go here, he's 10 yards away from a 300-yard game. It's kind of like taking a pitcher out of the realm when he's throwing a 7 or 8 inning shutout. You kind of don't want to do that.
Charlie Morton at the end of the World Series Game 7.
That's right.
Back to pass is Andrew. He's got his 10 yards. Almost. as Price caught the pass at the 30, but gets knocked backward and is down at the 29, so he needs another yard. Andrew making his way over toward the sideline just to get the play coming in, shuttled in by Draven Zook.
It's going to be eight yards on that, it looks like.
Yeah, well, I'm giving him 9. But you're the stat guy, so you're the only guy that matters.
Yeah.
My opinions are mine, and I'll keep them to myself, I suppose. 5:40 left to go in the game, 47-7. Bearcats with the lead. Another pass for Hootie intended for Zook. A little too tall, and Draven might have benefited from having those nice sticky gloves that the manufacturers make on his hands at that point. But he's out there, and he's toughing it out, bare hands. Most of the Bearcats are toughing it out. These guys, certainly a night where you could have dressed with some extra thermal type stuff on. I know I did. But these guys are out there with their arms showing. And they are, I'm sure, not very cold the way they have played this football game.
Price 12 catches, 228 yards on the evening.
Andrew Hootie in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off to Border. Border's over the 30, first down and more. And he fumbled he was being brought down, and it's recovered by the Indians. I think that was that Martin that recovered?
Yep.
So Martin with a recovery at the 35-yard line. Juniata takes over. And second time tonight, I don't think we've seen Ian Border fumble 2 times. Did he fumble 2 times all season?
No.
So he's fumbled twice in tonight's game. That's the kind of thing you don't want out there in the game film for another team to look at. But I'm sure that will be addressed betwixt now and next Friday. I'm assuming that game is Friday next week.
It is. It's Friday at 7. Yep.
Parson up under center. Snap, and the handoff goes to the leading ground gainer, Bryson Clark. Clark gets down over the 35 to about the 33-yard line. It'll be a gain of a couple and a second down and 8. Clock now down to 4:10. Juniata trying to get one more score before this night is done. And if I'd be the bus drivers, I'd be over there cranking up the heat on those cheese buses across the way.
I would be too. I agree. I'll be cranking up the heat on my Tribeca here in about 15 minutes, I can tell you that.
Angie Tribeca?
Well, no. B9 Tribeca.
Handoff goes to Zach Piper, and Piper gets down to the 30-yard line, picking up about 3 on the carry to set up a 3rd down and 5. Draven Zook credited with the stop. 3rd down and 5.
Long night for Juniata here tonight, but, you know, credit the Huntington defense for just totally shutting this down. Now, this is, you know, Dave, the product of a bye week, too, is to be able to prepare for your opponent the way Huntington did. They figured going into it that Juniata was going to beat Bald Eagle handily, and they did. So they prepared 2 weeks for it, and it's shown.
Oh, my. Yeah, it's like they're in their playbook. Parson back to pass, gets flushed out. Now he's going to run. Tries to turn it upfield, has first down yardage and more, gets over the 20 and is taken out of bounds. Well, he didn't make it over the 20. They show him out at the 21-yard line, but nonetheless, it's good for, and Chad, that should make you happy. The first time tonight that Juniata has achieved an honest-to-goodness
first down.
First down.
It comes with 2:57 to go in the 4th quarter. Guys, that just tells you the defensive effort that Huntington has put on tonight. Aside from one pass play, and really it's hard to keep that tight end quiet. He is that good of a football player, folks.
Oh, hey, he's a big dude. He's 6'3", 222.
He's a Division II dream.
Yeah, he is a force to be reckoned with. And kind of a pitch handoff that time to Becker. And Becker gets down inside the 5, and he fumbled. He fumbled the football.
And Price
he wanted
picked it
to
up.
Try to get it into the end zone, and Jonathan Price adds some marshmallows to his hot chocolate with a fumble recovery.
Yep, he fumbled that football.
Wow. Here, Jonathan Price. You know, you could hear fans in the stands in the right situation yelling MVP.
Yeah, really.
Bearcats ball 1st and 10 at their own 4-yard line. Andrew Hoody's going to come out and finish things off, I guess, as we get down around the 2-minute mark. By the way, it's amazing with a running clock here in the second half. It's a pretty late ending to the game as it's almost 9:15 already. And the ball carrier is Ian Border. He is off to the races and gone, is he?
Nope.
At midfield.
We'll see.
Makes a good cut over toward the near sideline and is still going down over the 20, the 15, the 10. And Ian Border goes 96 yards for a Bearcat touchdown. Now, here's another one at 96 yards.
No, that's not a record.
Well, no, for the year, that's the longest.
That's the longest one for the year. There's no doubt about that. And a complete defensive breakdown. And that's a running play. You know, you're just going to hand the ball off. And
they did.
And they did.
And they handed it off to the right guy.
Ian
Border. Now there's MVP chance coming out for him.
Well, 239 yards now on the ground for him.
Oh, my goodness. It is just something.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what's happening here this evening.
53-7, Bearcats with the lead, and Gio Scaccia is going to try to not hook one here. Warner with the spot. Gio's kick is up, and it is good. No, he shanked that one off to the right.
There is something for you want to talk about if we've got a concern going into next week. Gio has been as consistent can be all year long, and he's not had a good night out here tonight, and that's a little concerning going into what will be a much tougher game next week.
We talked about defense winning championships, but special teams can win games, and obviously that's a big part of special teams. Is your kicking game. So yeah, it's definitely an area of concern for the Huntingdon Bearcats. But one of the things going on here, this is Gio's first year kicking, right? And this is his first time to be out with the weather this cold. And that's an adjustment that you have to make. I know, you have to be prepared and ready to go in the whole 9 yards, but it's completely new territory for him. So I'm sure he's going to take something away from this as far as a learning experience about playing in cold weather, because the team has just not had to worry about that all season.
Oh, no, they have not. Absolutely right. Well, and thankfully we haven't had to worry about that all season either, Dave.
So with the missed point after, the score remains, and I think I've been saying the score quite a bit, but hey, we'll give it to you again. 53-7, Bearcats with the lead. Down to 1:44 left to go in the game. Scotch's kickoff. Nice, pretty end over end, fielded at the 18. Out over the 20, 25, out over the 35, and then brought down at about the 37-yard line as on the return.
So another one that we have to talk about now is touchdowns in a game. Ian Border has now tied the school record with 5 touchdowns in a game. Ian did it last year against Penns Valley. Also, West Green did it in 1994 against Bald Eagle area. So that is the second time that Ian has scored 5 touchdowns in a football game.
Once again, the wing kicks up a little bit with the American flags on the bleachers on the far side of the field, but that's just right in that area. There's not much wind swirling around anywhere else. Parson with a deep pass, and it is caught at the 40-yard line, and a good solid tackle then as the pass was caught by Leonard, and a good tackle for the Bearcats from Grubb. Was that Dylan Grubb with the stop?
Sure was.
And even though that pass was completed, he stuck with it, did Grubb, and is able to bring him down at the 33-yard line is where they mark him. Down to 1:13 left to go, and I'm sure the Indians would like to maybe punch it in one more time before the final whistle blows in tonight's game. Clock rolling down to 1 minute now left to go. Parson in the shotgun. Takes the snap, looks downfield, has to go with the screen. That's the only thing that's open. Down over the 30 and tripped up is Bryson Clark, and that was Alex Mikett with the tackle. Nice open field tackle by Mike.
Oh, nice open field tackle by Mike. And he's been playing great at the defensive end. He's pretty much shut down the outside for Juniata. Him and Briggs both. Juniata's had no outside game because of those two defensive ends.
Ends up being a gain of about 7 and a 2nd down and 3 for the Indians. And they're running out of time, down to 25 left to go in the game. Bearcats about to walk away with a 53-7 victory and going toward the end zone. And is it intercepted almost by Wagner and then almost caught by Lawver? Talk about a battle, because Wagner got up and almost had it to begin with, but the ball stayed up in the air, giving Lawver almost a chance to pull it down. But none of that is relevant much anymore because the clock has reached zeros. The Huntingdon Bearcats, after a bye week in the playoffs, came out and took it to Juniata. The final score tonight, Bearcats 53, Juniata 7. Back to wrap things up with tonight's broadcast right after this. You're listening to the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.
Again, that game is tentatively scheduled to take place at Mansion Park in Altoona.
Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of ensured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon.
Sometimes facts are hard to face. Statistics show that obesity is a problem in the United States, and it's not getting any better. At Simone Family Chiropractic, we understand this problem. We also know that obesity leads to very serious health problems later in life. There is a way to cleanse your body and get back to optimum health. It is called the Doctor-Supervised Chirothin System, and it teaches you how and what to eat in the real world. Call us at Simone Family Chiropractic at 814-643-2616, or stop in and see us at 613 Washington Street in Huntingdon, across from All American Pizza, or find us on Facebook.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community with loads of activities all year round. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 proudly sponsors social events for members and their guests, plus you can enjoy their Friday food specials beginning at 5 p.m. every Friday. Saturday entertainment, plus check our website for other exciting upcoming events all year round. There's always something happening at the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. Join us today. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of ensured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon.
All-American Pizza and Subs in downtown Huntingdon offers up the family meal deal with a large one-topping pizza, a dozen wings, and a 2-liter Pepsi product for only $21.99. All-American also presents Double Punch Month, where you can save big on a large sub or lunch special during the month of November. Stop by All-American Pizza and Subs at 612 Washington Street in downtown Huntingdon, home of the Bearcat Sub. Call 643-0222 for deliveries, open until 9 p.m., closed Monday. D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, D.C. Goodman & Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence.
I'm Owen Kaufman. You're listening to Huntingdon Bearcats on the airnetwork.net.
$53-7, the final score tonight. The Bearcats handed to the Juniata Indians in a performance that has to really warm the heart of head coach Mike Hootie to see this team come out and dominate this game the way they did. A little bit of concern because in the regular season game, it was Juniata that came out and took a 14-0 lead against the Bearcats, but no such repeat action came your way tonight as the Bearcats dominated pretty much from the beginning of the game to the end. They sputtered a little bit on their first couple of possessions, but eventually, once Andrew Hootie started throwing the football around like there was nothing to it and like it was about a, 65-degree evening, it was
almost looked like a Madden game out here to him.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the stats that were piled up tonight were video game type stats. So we see Jonathan Price being interviewed by someone with a camera, and rightfully so. MVP.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, Chad, what do you have for us? Anything you can give us quick, or did I not give you enough time?
I don't have enough time after tonight, but regardless, I will give you something after tonight. It's a furious, fast and furious here, but real quick, Huntingdon with 312 yards rushing to Juniata's 62, 298 yards passing to Juniata's 107, so 610 total yards of offense for Huntingdon to 169 for Juniata. 23 first downs for the Bearcats, only 3 for Juniata. And again, a record-breaking performances by Jonathan Price, Andrew Hootie, and Ian Border. Price setting the new single-season record for receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Also a single-game yardage record as Jonathan had 228 yards. A single-game receiving record with receptions as he had 12 grabs, that breaking a record. Andrew Hootie setting a new single-game passing yardage record with 298, falling just 2 yards short of a 300-yard game. Ian Border also setting new single-season touchdown records and new single-season records with points, and also new single-season record for rushing touchdowns in a season. And, oh, by the way, he set the single-game record once again with 5 rushing touchdowns. So to say that things have been a little bit busy offensively for the Bearcats is to say the least, but let's talk also about the virtuoso performance by the defense, Dave, and what these guys put together as they limited Juniata to 62 yards of rushing, basically, which amounted to almost nothing, 107 yards of passing, 70 of that coming on one catch in the third quarter. But just an outstanding overall effort by this Bearcat team coming off of a bye and now heading to Mansion Park for a shot at the District 6 AAA championship.
And by the way, isn't it nice to be going, when you have a team with the speed that this does, that you're going to an artificial turf field?
Absolutely.
So look for big things next week. That's what I'm looking for. And the Bearcats are on the road to hopefully some deep postseason play. With that in mind, make sure you contact Greg Banks because we're going to need your help as far as the PIAA fees go as we head through the postseason. So stay tuned for that. Greg will tell you how to get in touch with him and how you can be a Bearcat broadcast alum booster. Actually, you don't even have to be an alum. If you just enjoyed the broadcast and you want us to continue on, be sure to contact Greg Banks ASAP.
Please.
Game will be on at, Greg was saying 10 o'clock tonight, so hopefully that's the case. And also, then we will have that again for you tomorrow at noon on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. A cold night, but a warm night as far as the activity on the field goes for sure. Chad, good to be with you, and we're going to do it one more time.
We are going to do it one more time for sure, and we're going to do it in a championship fashion next weekend. Dave, you and I had the opportunity last year to call the District 6 championship game in baseball, Huntingdon versus Central, and we all know how that ended with a thrilling Huntingdon victory over Central, who went on to win the state title last year. Huntingdon may be facing that same Central Scarlet Dragon team. Once again, they lost to them 14-10 in a very close ball game over in Martinsburg. Or they could be facing a 10-1 Forest Hills team led by quarterback Adam Cesare. Cesare, again, you and I like baseball, headed to Wake Forest on a baseball scholarship and a very, very good-looking athlete in his own right as Don Bailey has the Rangers back into the playoffs and back into potentially a deep playoff run. But we'll find out who that is tomorrow evening.
Yep. So keep your eyes peeled for that game, and you'll know who the Bearcats are playing next at Mansion Park next Friday night. Either way, doesn't matter, Forest Hills or Central, we'll have the game for you here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. So for the final time in the 2017 season, we bid you a good night from Huntingdon War Vets Field in Huntingdon, Pennsylvania, where the final score tonight was the Bearcats 53 and the Indians 7. For Chad States, Greg Banks, and everyone else involved with the broadcast here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon, I'm Dave Shannon saying good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Huntingdon Bearcat Football on the Air Network and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Bearcat Football is presented by Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community, and by D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family. Tonight's game also brought to you by Simone Family Chiropractic at 613 Washington Street in downtown Huntingdon, by Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing of Huntingdon, and by All American Pizza and Subs in downtown Huntingdon. Listen for rebroadcasts throughout the week of Bearcat football, and join us again for the next game of Huntingdon Bearcat football exclusively on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.